Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Scarred Lands one-shot, Tears from Nemul. Today, we're going to be running a game in the Scarred Lands, which is, I learned recently, a rather well-historied setting, but we're going to be using the most recent iteration of that by Onyx Path Publishing, Scarred Lands 5th edition, for 5th edition D&D, rather. And, the basis for Scarred Lands is that the Titans and the Gods once warred 150 years ago, razing much of the landscape, destroying things, corrupting things, changing the world. The stars and constellations fell from their places. The world was all but completely destroyed, and now we have entered into a tenuous sense of normalcy. After the gods, specifically Korean, reset the constellations, and everyone's kind of just doing their thing. I know. Sarah here is our expert on
It was Hadrada
deep lore.
who reset the constellations.
It was Hadrada? Oh, well then.
No, Corian made
Corian?
the stars. Hadrada was the one who organized and hung them.
Oh.
What she said.
Okay. So, in either case, the land has been changed deeply, and the peoples upon it have entered into a tenuous time of peace following the Divinity War and Divine War, rather. And at this moment, there is a shaky divine truce that keeps the gods' followers, the surviving 8 victors, I believe it is, their followers from just slaughtering each other outright. But of course, as we all know, things never go according to plan. We're going to be taking this game in the city of Shelzar, but we'll get into that in a moment. I am Bran, your game master storyteller with Gehenna Gaming, and I would like it if my my players here could introduce themselves. Who wants to start? Josh?
Hi, everyone. I'm Joshua Allen Doetsch. I'm a freelance writer for video games and tabletop games, and I am here to play in this awesome setting.
Fantastic. Lysa, you want to go next?
Yeah, just unmuting myself. My name is Lysa Penrose. I am the brand manager for a site called Dungeon Masters Guild, where you can publish your own 5th edition creations. And I'm also the social media manager for Dungeons and Dragons. Actually, this is my first time playing in Scarred Lands, so like everyone was kind of like nodding along as you were giving background, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is fine. I mean, it sounds really cool, so I'm really excited to learn more. Excellent.
And I don't know which one of you two wants to go next.
I'll go first. I'm Sarah Stewart. I'm kind of the opposite of Lysa. I'm one of the writers of along with Fran, who's over there, of the Scarred Lands novel Vigilant. So Fran and I are deep lore Scarred Lands and have been playing in this setting since its inception back in 2000. So yeah, and we also are have some game titles out on Drive-Thru RPG, a couple of modules in this calendar for Scarred Lands. And I'll be playtesting out one of the concepts I have for upcoming Scarred Lands sourcebook on the different broods of the rat folk.
And we're going to be seeing a little bit of interesting stuff tonight from that.
And finally, hi, I'm Fran Stewart. I've written damn near anything that a human being can write, including some code. I am not particularly famous for anything, but yeah, I do some writing for Onyx Path, helped co-write the novel. I'm currently working on the product Dead Man's Rust, about which I'm still not totally sure what I can say, except that it's really cool. And I'm really happy to have new friends to play in this awesome playground, because Scarn is just damn loads of fun.
Thank you. Perfect. So we're going to embark into Scarn a little more deeply, but I do want to add that, Lysa, you're not alone. I only became aware of Scarred Lands probably about 6 months ago, and I read the entire source book for 5th edition this past week. So you're not alone there. But I've been cramming, and I think I'm prepared. So let's find out exactly. beautiful, beautiful book that gets
Surrounded
faded
by
away.
books right now.
Oh, reality is melting.
Reality is melting.
Can't hold up the book because of your background. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just, I can't hold my form together.
The
So,
book doesn't fully exist in three-dimensional space. That's how cool it is.
okay, so, would you guys rather, and then we didn't talk about this beforehand, so let's talk about it now. Would you guys rather introduce your characters in-game actively, or would you rather do it in a round table beforehand? Do you have a preference?
Not
No
really.
preference for me.
Okay. Then let's just do it organically.
Yeah.
I think and so what I'd like for each of you to do is just consider for a moment where you think into a warm, sweltering coastal city of excess and debauchery and a lot of freedoms, but also some interesting restrictions, a strange place. Where do you think you'd be coming from, or did you already live here? Just kind of get a brief idea for me. But I know that, Sarah, I believe you said your character was going to be coming in on a boat?
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe I don't know if like today or maybe a few days ago and found out about the concert.
Yeah, maybe a few days ago,
Yeah.
and staying down at a local inn or something, or
It's
do you think you would have found
a very inexpensive inn? Don't have much money.
staying at Fisherman's Luck?
Yeah. I mean, I realized quickly that sleeping in the streets is not allowed. So I would probably find a really, a dive.
Okay.
They didn't even notice me.
So, coming into the city several days ago now, what do you think were the first things that passed through your character's mind?
What smells crazy? Like, this is just, whoa, there's so many people. It's like really crowded, and that's like alarming. For me. It's like, wow, there's so many people here. They seem not to be bothering me, which is good. I'm not necessarily used to that. So I kind of, so I don't blend
stand out a
okay.
little bit,
I stand out, but I'm not like getting harassed constantly.
Yeah, I imagine
or
on the
beaten
boat,
up or anything, so that's nice.
I imagine on the ship ride over, you probably got more than one misguided person saying, "Oh, you poor thing."
Blah 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 blah. Poor thing. Blah blah blah. Titan spawn. Blah blah blah.
That, but also the sight.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't even think about that.
Yeah.
I kind of forget that everyone else has abilities that I don't have.
Which of course would be natural, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
Do you think that your character would go about engaging in like correcting them? Be like, well, actually, or do you think they'd be like, sure?
Yeah, no, sure. Like I'm like, oh, that's right. You can do this thing called seeing. I don't know what that is, but apparently it's a thing you can do, but you can't sense things, so that's fine. And I just nod and guess.
Okay. The emotions on the way over to the city, just an absolute tumult in so many ways. Being on the sea is an anxious thing. Always, especially in these uncertain times following the Divine War, and what with the Blood Monsoon, sailing is an affair that everyone's anxious about. So I'm sure that it was a rough ride, but that you were happy to get ashore, even if it smells funny.
Yeah, at least we're not on the Blood Sea. That's a place I've heard about. I haven't been there before.
Right. Nope, not on the Blood Sea, but who knows what will happen and when on Skarn.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do you want to go ahead and give us all a physical description of your character?
Yeah, I'm about 5 feet tall, very furry. I wear like a brown robe with a hood, so you can't really necessarily see details. I just look like a old furry person with a staff walking around, kind of grayish fur, although it's kind of not really old. It just looks that way because I have gray fur. And I have a rat tail. I'm a Slytherin or a rat folk. But I have no eyes. So it's like just fur, nose, mouth.
Okay.
And it's clear that I'm blind because I'm using this staff walking stick and just sort of doing the lumping, tap, 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 tap as I walk around the city. And just kind of just not like begging or anything like that. I'm just going to walk around the city, taking it in, just seeing what's going on, and I'm looking forward to this concert I heard about because that sounds really neat. So I'm going to go to this concert.
A delight to the senses that you actually have.
Oh, completely, just super excited about it. But yeah,
Excellent.
anybody who's really observant would be like, "That's a monk."
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of whispers as you walk through the city. People, your sense of hearing obviously is not preternatural, but of course maybe attuned. And so whispers and conspiratorial sounds from the side alleys, though nothing bad ever seems to happen to you. Oh, there's that.
Who'd want to rob a begging monk?
Who seems to have
Who
nothing.
are you going to get?
A cool stick.
Yeah.
All right, so then, what about Fran? What do you think your character was up to before they arrived here?
Before he arrived here, Tanri of the Order of Iron, who's a young ironbred, and for those not familiar with Skarn, ironbred are kind of horse people. So he's got kind of a long horsey snout, and he's got hooved feet and is built kind of big and brawny. He was probably serving in a garrison in the Gleaming Valley. He probably doesn't exactly know why he got picked to go to Shelzar, because he's a paladin of Corian, the god of lawful good and forges and paladinry and honorable knightship and all of that kind of good stuff. But he was assigned to go here, so he didn't really know exactly what to expect. Tanri was born among ironbred people, but actually raised by a couple of Hollow Legionnaires because his parents died. So he's always sort of wanted to be a paladin, like other people in his Hollow Legion family. And he kind of views Shelzar as a bit of a test, like, can I actually maintain my ideals and do what Corian is calling me to do in this really strange place that I know other paladins have said is really difficult to cope with?
Coming from the idyllic and lawful Gleaming Valley, which is, of course, a bastion against the forces of darkness, coming from there into this very messy, dirty, to use a word that we would use in our lives, it's very human, very lived in. It's the messy push and shove of all mortal life going about its pleasures and displeasures. So then, mayhaps Tanri came, by overland, maybe with a few Hollow Legionaries who accompanied you.
Probably, yeah.
And coming down from the north, down over the sweltering plains, and then maybe cresting a hill and seeing the city in the distance, what do you think the first senses and feelings that Tanri would get?
I mean, amazement. The Gleaming Valley has some really amazing cities, but nothing is huge and sprawling and ancient as Shelzar. So probably just kind of staring and looking and trying to figure out what to look at first, and not really knowing because there's just all this stuff.
On your travel over, anytime you happen to cross a merchant caravan of any sort who may have been traveling north along the same roads, you certainly received more undue misjudgment than you maybe would have otherwise, being so close to the Ukrudan desert, where your famously savage cousins that you forsook, or your ancestors forsook mayhaps, the Sutak, they strike fear into everyone around the desert, so they avoided you, no matter that you were with the Gleaming Legionaries, who, of course, they're all kind of a little funny about anyway. The Hollow Legionaries.
Oh, yeah. They're basically walking suits of armor.
Yeah.
Walking suits of armor with funny spirit flesh.
Yep.
We won't get too far into that but if anyone is interested in that, please pick up the Scarlands book.
Yeah.
All right.
They're so fun to play.
Yeah. They look it. Lysa. So I know you didn't get much of an opportunity to prepare your character, so do you have any thoughts as to maybe their origin? Anything that came to mind?
Well, I was thinking, since I'm also this, clearly there's a lot of lore and history that I'm unfamiliar with.
That's okay. We can help.
As folks are on the streets, you see a like 1.5 meter tall young woman with tan skin and dark hair, but it's all kind of like bunched and matted in one spot where there's like some dried blood. And she's clutching a wooden handled blade with like a little curved end to her, and a little pack that she had on her, and bumping into people looking really confused, and trying to get people's attention on these busy city streets. Just like, excuse me, do you know where I am? I'm sorry. Do you know who I am? As she bumbles around.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh.
All right. Beautiful. Perfect. That's
Yep.
A+. All right. I don't have anything else to add to that. So,
Yeah.
And
I mean,
amnesia Cathling, that works.
Right. Yeah, the city around you is a vast, sprawling affair with many layers of architecture. You know, from ancient times going forward. And you know, there are many. There's such wealth disparity too. I know not what district you would find yourself in. Maybe to drive home the ignored affair. You find yourself in a market square with a bustle of people ignoring you, completely ignoring you, bumping around you, moving around you, ignoring you, and maybe some people beckoning to you from the sides, being like, you look like you need to relax. Try some of this. You know, hawking you things, trying to, but you're clearly dazed and confused and not interested in that. Just searching for help. All right, Josh.
I'm playing Nyarlathotep, a Safi wizard. The Safi are serpent people. They're humanoid, but long snaky body. He's just under 6 feet, but not very heavy. He's very slight. His scales are an indigo color. They look black until you see it in the light, and it's lots of shimmering purples and blues.
Nice.
He's in very, very nice robes. He comes from a special scholarly library somewhere, and he is just traveling the world, learning and recording, and just wants to absorb everything. So he's probably sticking out very much like a tourist walking around. Imagine just getting off a boat, maybe seeing a poor halfling who doesn't know, who seems to have lost her memory.
Yeah, no, we'll get to that. Maybe your character seeks at some point to maybe be permitted entrance into the phylacteric vault in Darakin.
Yes.
And so you are seeking out all knowledge that you can, all things of worth to just kind of prove yourself, maybe, as a spellcaster, as someone who is of the learned, the wise.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, cool. So yeah, in the market square, the smell of foods frying in foods frying in fat, and the shouting of vendors, and the heady scent of spices and vegetables and animals comes up all around you in this sweltering sauna of kind of oddly graceful people meandering around in these light, airy clothes. Some of them far less clothes than you would have expected. Nonetheless,
I want to do like a food tour. The idea of trying some of these foodstuffs that I've never had before, of like kind of going around the market and checking out various food vendors and trying little bites of different things.
Stands to reason.
The bite of Shelzar.
Taste of Shelzar.
Taste of Shelzar. So
I really hope your character is using that language just because of the interactions it's going to bring you. All right. So Let's see. Josh, your character's name was Nyarlathotep, right?
Nyarlathotep, yes.
Nyarlathotep. And Sarah, what was your character's name?
Anatim.
Anatim.
A-N-A-T-I-M.
Okay. And then Fran, you were Tanri. And Lysa, did you have a name?
Did, but now I'm like, would she know what her name is?
If you want, we can just call you Nameless.
I'm gonna be nameless for now.
All right. So, Nyarlathotep, as you are in this, passing into the city and, meandering through, it is not a foreign affair to meander around the press of bodies. You've been to cities before, but something catches your attention that certainly you've seen, but not with such a convincing demeanor. Someone maybe playing sick, playing hurt. Maybe you're not sure. There's appears to be a halfling woman, but she has blood caked to the side of her head, and she's clutching something. She looks genuinely afraid and confused. When you say, Osathi are snake people, obviously, do you think that you're more of that thick, ropey variety, or are you more of those like very narrow and wiry types?
They do have legs.
Yes, they do. Yes,
narrow and wiry.
Yeah.
And he's very fidgety, sort of, or some people would fidget with their hands. He fidgets with his wiry body. He's just always in motion.
I like that. Perfect. So, Nameless, out of the crowd, someone finally seems to notice you.
Not having the context of whether a snake person is normal or not, Nameless just kind of accepts, is gonna just accept this attention and just kind of like wave across the marketplace.
Nyarlathotep waves back. I'm sorry, do you need help?
I think that I do. Gosh, I'm real hungry. I'm sorry, it's bothering me. There's blood in you. May I? There's blood where? I'm gonna cast prestidigitation and clean the blood out of her hair because it's bothering my OCD right now.
Okay. What do you think the visual effect, or what kind of sensory effects follow your specific brand of magic?
He hisses out a few ancient Safi words, and he takes a little bit of ash and just goes, poof. But instead of making you messier, it somehow makes you cleaner.
You expect?
Is it like dry shampoo? And like suddenly my hair is like so good.
It is. It even exfoliates. It's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Oh man.
You poor races who don't shed all at once. I feel bad.
So filthy.
Mammals.
I could get into Mesos's Bane, but I don't think we care enough in this game to talk about the.
The lore of the Scarred Lands is very deep, but yeah, Mesos's Bane is something I have actually chosen to more or less just play down for this. I definitely want to touch on it later. Magic is ill-behaved in the Scarred Lands, but
yeah,
it's mostly a thematic thing, and it may come into play later during particularly turbulent moments. For now, though, the spell goes off without a hitch, and Lysa, you found yourself clean.
Clean. My name is Nyarlathotep. What's yours?
Sorry, there's like a cavalcade of ambulances going by.
no,
That's fine. Why don't we just do a slide transition, and we'll go ahead and bring it on over to Tanri.
Okay.
You've been in the city probably for several days already. You've gone to. You said there's an outpost here, and I would like for that. I think that you probably visited, and I don't know. What do you think your feelings are about this tiny, somewhat pitiful building?
I don't. It hasn't. I mean, I feel really weird because on the one hand, everybody in the city seems to be kind of uncomfortable with me, and all the paladins seem to be uncomfortable with the city. But on the other hand, I'm finding it a little bit confusing because in some ways this is a lot like the way that the Ironbred live. You know, everybody's just kind of, there's this kind of turmoil, but everybody seems to be doing what they need to get done. I mean, people seem to be maybe kind of lazy. And like most of my day is spent with somebody coming up and saying there's a wall that needs to be repaired and we've volunteered to go do it, or there's an alley that needs mucking out and we've volunteered to go do it, or the gates into the 3rd district have completely broken and so we're going to forge new hinges for them and everything. But other than that, it's not quite the hellhole everybody was sort of telling me it was going to be. So
okay, so mixed feelings.
Not quite the sin of decadence you were anticipating.
It's not quite so hard. I mean, people have come up and asked me for sex and I've said no thank you, which is what you do among the Ironbred. So and they've offered me drugs and I haven't really been all that interested in that, but it's not quite as hard to get along here as I expected it to be, aside from the staring.
Yeah, well, that can be isolating. Nonetheless, one of your fellow paladins you over here at some point had mentioned that there was supposed to be a concert, a very rare occasion of the singer Adria Sunasa coming home, and she's been apparently abroad for several years. Maybe you've heard of her, maybe you haven't. I'll leave that up to you. Leave it up to all of you if you've heard of her or not. Her songs are said to be able to turn the minds of people toward peace, even if just for a moment. It is said that she is blessed, but she is certainly... she certainly benefits from something. What that is, I'll leave it up to you.
That sounds pretty awesome to me.
So, heading out into the town then later on, you stumble across a disturbance.
Well, I'm a paladin, so I move towards it.
Okay. Some people are huddled around, talking and whispering, just outside the market, and it looks more clandestine than normal. It's not the typical type of, hey, we're just trying to plan where to go for our next party. You see some objects being passed around. When you approach, they scatter. But
that
then,
happens a lot.
Yeah. Then, just on the other side of them, though you see that they scatter in all directions, you find what appears to be a halfling and an Asathi, speaking in kind of rushed, frantic tones almost, but the Asathi seems languid, while the halfling seems confused, but pleasant. Before you, Nameless and Nyarlathotep, stands, let's see, how tall are you?
About 6 feet.
About 6 feet, probably.
He's
much
a young
broader.
guy, but if you can, he's kind of thin for an Ironbred, so he's kind of gangly.
Okay.
So if you can picture kind of a very giraffe-y kind of horse person.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're also wearing armor, though, are you not?
Yeah, studded leather.
Okay. So approaching you it's 6 foot tall, not tremendously imposing, but nonetheless not unimposing either. Ironbred, who are the horse people who originated from the plains, just north of here, or the deserts just north of here. The Ukrudon Desert.
Which is not that far from Shelzar.
It is certainly not.
Well, 500 miles, is that not that far? I don't know.
As the crow flies. So, nonetheless, and of course, you as well, Nyarlathotep, you see this. This Ironbread just standing there. She's like, oh.
I feel like when Nairlot introduced himself, did you reach out a hand to shake my hand?
Yes.
Okay. Nameless just kind of like extends her hand forward, not in like a shake, but also just like mimicking your motion. So it's like
Nairlot
like
assumes that must be your practice, so he just goes along with that.
Oh, good. Both of us assuming this is great. And she kind of like changes how she's standing to be like a little more like snaky, like very loose. She's just trying to find some sort of familiarity. And she goes, my name is, I don't remember my name. And then she sees like this big giraffe horse person approaching, and just like, and then she kind of changes her posture to be a little bit more horse-like, I guess. And just kind of stands there stunned by everything going on around her.
Jesus.
Fantastic.
I sense distress is somewhere happening nearby.
You, in fact, do. You have you've gone on your flavors of Shalzar quest, but you've been sidetracked. As
it's a leg of something. I'm not sure what, but
but it is delicious. It is fried and fat, and it is spicy.
yes.
So, it's wonderful. It's jerk chicken. Don't worry about it.
As long as it's not rat, I'm fine.
Fair, valid. But yes, you're at a stall, a colorful stall manned by a colorful woman serving colorful food. And
No idea what color is, but sure.
Right. This is for everyone's visual benefit. You, however, just gain the sense of a facade. A very, very pleasant facade. It's like you feel that kind of almost like when you're touching like an object and testing for its quality of craft, and you feel that maybe it's made of not the best materials. This happiness seems to not be made of the best materials, and beneath it is this kind of odd seething sensation, so nonetheless, it's remained pleasant, so maybe no need to question it. But then suddenly you you hear, sense, and smell an interaction between 3 different groups, all of which are not common in the city, and you not being common either. It is a different smell, something that is unique and different. I'm not sure if you would say that is it Anatim?
Anatim. Yeah.
Anatim. So, not sure if Anatim would.
Anatim, but yeah.
Yeah, Tim.
Yeah.
Not sure if they would have ever met an Ironbread or an Asathi. What do you think?
Definitely met a halfling before, but no, probably not an Ironbread or an Asathi.
Okay. All right.
So,
So
to have.
Anatim can sense feelings, emotions.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that maybe we should do for the moment is just give a 1, 2, or 3 word description of how your character in this very moment is feeling. Each of you.
Like not secret feeling, but really on the
Yeah.
surface.
Yeah, like surface feelings.
Yeah.
Confusion and anxiety.
Okay.
Kindness with a hint of patronizing, and but excitement at seeing an Ironbread.
And probably a sense of concern and duty.
Okay. What an interesting mix. I mean, everywhere else you've been in this city, there's certainly been plenty of emotions, but, it's often private things behind walls, senses that aren't really very strong. Very rarely out in public. Everyone seems to wear a mask, and these people seem kind of oddly honest.
Yeah, and anxiety, kindness, duty. I'm like, I got to see what's going on, or I got to find out what's going on. I use C because everyone else uses C. It's just a convenient word. But yeah, I kind of tap my way over in that direction, bringing some of the food with me that I've gathered. I have like a bag of various things I have purchased that I've been snacking on as I've been walking through this market, collecting. And,
Do you think that Anatim is very discerning about the type of food they eat or no?
No, dude. No, not at all.
No, I don't think so. I was just
As a
curious.
species, we'll eat, like I said, I won't eat rat.
Mhm.
That's about it.
Cousin.
Yeah, cousin's bad, you know.
Don't eat
and
your
I
cousins.
won't eat anything sentient.
Okay.
So, you know, that's where my discerning stuff pretty much ends. And anything from I've been told don't eat things from the Blood Sea, but we're nowhere near there, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone knows anything about Shelzar, you can probably find it somewhere, but...
Yeah. I mean, you know, I
So-
take little nibbles to see what happens, but yeah, and then it's like, ooh, that's really good.
So, do you wear your hood down over your eyes, or is it just fur?
No, it's just fur.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Or
it's
where your eyes
probably a
would
little
be.
kind of there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
So-
more the I'm a monk vibe than like I'm, you know, hiding anything.
A visibly, obviously blind Slytherin, with fur covering their eyes, just comes tapping over, pulling a fried tarantula out of like a bag and just eating it.
Oh yeah.
Just crunching, tottering over.
Tap tap.
Feel free to take it away from here, guys.
Hello. Is someone's in distress?
What luck! What are we saying? Slytherin? No, it's not Slytherin.
Say it
Slytherin's fine.
however you want.
All right. A
Honestly,
Linguistic.
Slytherin and an Ironbred. I have so many questions. How do you feel your respective cultures are developing post Titans?
Is
What?
is there?
Also, she. I'm sorry. He or she?
She.
She.
think the half- the only she.
This halfling seems to have. She doesn't even know her name. Poor dear.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is maybe a strange question, although, you know what? I'm honestly not sure what a strange question would be, but where am I?
Oh my. You were in the city of Shelzar, the gem of Gelspad. The southern
Shelzar.
shores of the continent. Were you far from home? You seem in
I-
distress.
I don't know. I remember that I arrived here wherever it was, but I got into a fight. I think. I hope I didn't hurt anybody. And she holds up the little blade. It was covered in blood. That's the last thing I remember.
You were
But I
covered in
washed
blood.
it. That's true. But then we
Oh.
shampooed my head.
Are you
Someone else's.
are you injured? And I'll get down on. I'll kneel down and try to take a look and sort of figure out if. So I guess that would constitute a medicine roll, wouldn't it?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, if you'd like to. I would say there's an answer
Yeah.
with and without.
So, sir, you spoke of a Ironbred. What are you, sir?
I am a Safi. Pardon my manners.
Oh, it's
My
fine.
name is Nyarlathotep, scholar of the Whispering Library and practitioner of the noble art of necromancy.
Spring Library. Do I know what the hell that is? Probably not.
I literally
Yeah.
just made it up.
My main kind of curls up a little bit at necromancy.
Oh yes, you
Which
know
is a
of
little
it.
bit-
Yes, yes. Reuse, recycle, reanimate.
And inside of my head, I can hear one of my instructors from the Golden City saying, "Now remember, not all necromancers are necessarily evil, foul monsters of darkness. We have the guys down in Hollowfaust who are actually fairly good allies of ours. So always ask before you smite." And I rolled a 4 on my medicine check, so I have no fucking idea what's going on.
I feel like there's a bump there.
Can I roll
Oh, do you
medicine?
see a bump?
I will-
Yes, this
I will
halfling
reach
appears
down.
to be made of halfling.
I rolled a 21 on my medicine check.
Mammal bodies confuse me. There's
I
bumps
will
everywhere.
touch the
I don't-
halfling's head and try to locate the injury.
Is that what I am? I'm a mammal?
You're a mammal, yes.
Okay. All right. when someone asks.
I thought she was a halfling. Are you one of those other? The height of a halfling, unless you are a human child, but you do not sound like a human child.
I don't know. I don't even have a name.
I found your
like to-
injury.
Oh,
I have
let me
only
without-
minor healing ability, but
Oh, it's tender. Ow.
here. Let me. I cast Cure Wounds.
Oh,
All right.
you got a hand there.
Yeah. That'd be 4 hit points back.
Okay. So, what do you think your own personal manifestations of Korean's blessings look and feel like?
Cure Wounds, because I'm a paladin and it's a battlefield thing, is probably just, Corian's name be healed.
Okay.
Like some of the other spells, they've designed the ways of saying them. Like if I'm doing a Searing Smite, you will know you have been bad. But Cure Wounds, it's, smack, get up, kind of.
You
I'll be like, oh no, I just said it was tender. Ow.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That wasn't so bad.
every one of you, even if you have memory loss, probably has a memory of a paternal or maternal figure, or just some elder, just kind of slapping something that you thought was a bad wound, and just being like, "Go play," and that just fills your head in that moment. Just as you suddenly don't hurt all over. You didn't exactly feel soothed, but you're like, "Oh, I guess I am okay."
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me. Everyone else has been just ignoring me, so I really appreciate it.
I can relate. There is some bias against certain races here in the city, and mine and yours are definitely among them. Here, I pull out some kind of food from my bag, hand it to her.
This one tasted good.
This is quite a yummy thing.
Oh,
I
yes,
found.
this is-
It is on a
this-
stick. Don't
Okay.
eat the stick.
Oh, okay. And I
Well,
turn it to the side.
I was assured it was some kind of game fowl.
Fair
A
enough.
spicy sauce.
And a delicious chili pepper sauce.
Yes. The food here is very, very spicy. But
Most likely the air is filled with the smell of frying chilies as well.
Yeah.
It's quite a hot region. A good place to grow all kinds of fun, flavorful things. Okay. So
I'm too a visitor of the city, but I've been purloining. Is that the right word? I've been partaking in the tastes of the market.
Yes, this is normal and delicious. And I feel like my face is like bright red from the heat. But I want normalcy so bad that I accept that this is a yummy thing.
This is with
Perhaps
eating in Scarred Lands games. Okay. Shelzar is also the home of coffee, I have discovered. It is amazing. It wakes you up. It's not like the teas of back home.
the press of the market is still quite loud and rowdy, and it is a strain to talk over it. Friendly, but still a strain. Perhaps you would be interested in finding a place that is quieter.
Yes, we should find somewhere quieter, and you can all tell me your life stories.
Oh my.
And our friend here can rest and try to recuperate a little bit. I'm sorry, I don't know the kind of healing magic. I'm not powerful enough to help you get back your memory or anything, but let's get some food in you and we'll figure out what to do from there. So
Staying at an inexpensive
building
in not too far from here. I don't know if it would be to your taste. It doesn't smell bad.
Give me a moment. And I turn to one of the passersby, and in slightly stilted Shelzari, I say, "Excuse me, citizen. Do you know of a good coffee place here where a group of people could sit and have lunch?"
Yeah, I'm assuming we're all speaking Lydian.
Languages are interesting, yeah. So Lydian
Would be
and
the
or
common
Lydian
tongue.
is the trade tongue, and so
Yeah.
in various broken forms or maybe very flawless forms, it is spoken throughout the market square, admixed with Veshian and Shalzari, and even a little bit of Calastian here and there.
Glastian's actually would be more common than Veshian.
That's fair, yeah.
But yeah, I'm just like, it occurred to me like Lydian is probably all of our second language because I doubt any of you speak rat folk.
Yeah. So Tanri, as you turn, there's a rather well-dressed looking young man, looks something like maybe perhaps in the role of a page boy or something like that, walking by with appears to be some kind of tablet or ledger, and he's dressed similarly to everyone in light flowing clothes, but has the trimmed and tailored look of someone who has been fitted, so clearly working or a servant to someone wealthy. And they pause as you address them, and they just look with that kind of opaque thing, the innocuous thing that people who have worked service know how to do. And
that moment before the response is fully loaded, where you get to see them just looking kind of tired but polite before they go, "Of course, how can I help you?"
Precisely. Anatim, you sense underneath you sense a flash of emotions from this young man. Only one of them coming to the surface ever so briefly, just a tiny flash and then fading away. Annoyance? and then a little bit of fear, and then curiosity, and then just kind of settles out into this nothingness.
I'm really used to a little bit of fear.
Yeah, a little bit of fear.
I'm really used to that.
Song of fear.
Like they always get a little. Then they see me, and then and then the fear goes away because I'm blind, and they're like, nothing to be worried about.
I could take them.
Pretty sure you could take a page boy, yeah. So the boy looks up and down and then assesses you with glittering dark eyes and says, "Of course, there are many fine coffee shops, but there is just one around the corner that serves an excellent extraction, if it interests you." And he gives you the name and the location. It's just outside of the market district, or of the market square. It's in the district, and apparently kind of the place that all the workers go. So it's in the middle.
That would be perfect, brother. Thank you very much. I won't detain you any further. Good luck on the rest of your day.
He gives you a warm farewell in Shalsari. That seems practiced.
Yep. And I give him a formal and very Corian-esque kind of flowery, he's already walking off, never mind.
He's intently looking at his ledger.
Yep.
Nyarlathotep, knowing that he prefers food raw, is going to take the moment before they start heading that way to reach into the Pock dimension where he keeps his familiar, and he's going to have a very large, matted furred, gray, one-eyed cat that doesn't necessarily look or smell entirely alive.
Oh, God.
So, cats smell oddly like growing mushrooms. And so what this must smell like mold.
Yeah. Ancient leaves turned up in the middle of the forest with underneath. Yeah. And every time he pets the beast, the smell.
Oh, God.
Little spores fly up, dust.
Yes. This is Hieronymus. He's a small fiendish spirit that I've encased in this cat flesh.
I see.
And I give it the mental command, or him the mental command, to go and fetch me something small.
Is that a good idea to encase a fiend in living?
Oh yes, you wouldn't want a naked fiend.
But a fiend at all?
Well, that was my infernal is better than my sylvan.
I feel like I am learning so much from all of you. And
That's
I'm gonna
excellent.
go through my little pack, and I have a journal containing cryptic notes. So I'm just gonna ignore the cryptic notes and write in the margins. And I'm writing stuff like necromancy equals okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
And encased fiends.
This is good. The path to self-improvement is knowledge. It says so in my character ideal on my sheet.
My character ideal is around seeking enlightenment, so related.
I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
excited.
not wrong.
I'm following the paladin to the coffee shop.
Yeah.
It might be scary for you right now, but I'm excited about anything I learn. You get to learn everything over again.
I am blown away by the enthusiasm, though. That is exciting, but I'm like nervous about there being a fiend that smells funny.
Oh, right. just a minor,
So
one-syllable name.
let's progress forward. Let's do a little montage. You all go get some coffee. It's a slow cooked affair similar to Turkish coffee. Excellent, very strong, very bitter, but also very smooth. And you get less looks, you notice, in the coffee shop than elsewhere, but you seem to ascribe it to the fact that everyone who comes in seems like they're just in their own world. Everyone's in their private place. Conversations that are had seem to be very, very rarely eavesdropped in on, except for mayhaps by the attendants, some of whom seem to stand around dusting.
I seem to be very adroit at moving around people without having to tap with my stick, but I am totally walking into chairs.
Oh, don't mind me, Craw.
Oh, it's a chair. Oh, table.
I can't imagine that Anatim weighs very much.
No. Well,
No?
5 feet tall, so.
Yeah, 5 feet tall, but I don't know. It's kind of a. Would you consider them wayfish or athletic?
Athletic.
Okay,
Actually.
fair enough then. Yeah, so okay. They're not.
I'm one of those hangs upside down by their foot claws,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Kind of monks.
I'm a hanging upside down, kick your ass monk.
Yeah.
The very rare spider monk.
Yeah. I
Okay.
only because I have I actually ranks in acrobatics, not athletics, but whatever.
Through conversation over the next hour or so, depending on how long you choose to stick around, getting food, having coffee, getting to know each other a little bit. You all learn that about this concert that's happening tonight. It's apparently quite a large affair.
I'm very excited.
And it's going to be occurring in one of the richer districts, which is going to be opened to many people to come see this. It's going to be in a public square, but of course, there's going to be guards, private guards for merchant companies and things like that all over the place. Alas, it's supposed to be breathtaking, a once-in-a-lifetime type event.
I've heard of her, and
Okay.
because of the whole Serenity you talked about it, like that would be my bag, and so I want in. Like this isn't this isn't why I came to Shellzar, but this is definitely a big bonus for me. So I'm determined to get into this concert, come hell or high water, even if I have to sneak my way in. I am determined to get in there, to at least within hearing distance.
You should totally go. I don't know what a concert is, but it sounds like it's great. You seem very enthusiastic about it.
It's music, sound, and singing, and it's supposed to be beautiful and serene. And I heard about her some years ago and have been very interested in hearing her perform. And I did not know she would be here when I came to the city, but when I found out, I had to go. So should be heading out there soon, in fact, if I can find the place.
Tonri is probably, if he can get your permission, sort of looking through your stuff, trying to find anything with identifying marks on it.
Oh, my stuff?
Yeah.
I think I'm probably very open. Also, you all got me this. What did you call it again? Coffee.
Coffee.
It's great.
Wonderful.
It's
Mhm.
I
amazing.
love it. Can this be my name? Coffee.
I like
Might-
it.
if you want it to be.
Coffee.
You might find it difficult falling asleep tonight, though, if you drink too much of it. Just be
What was it
warned.
like?
I don't know what the metabolism of your kind is like, but
Mhm.
I can only have so much.
If you want that to be your name, I mean, it'd be an okay name among my people. So
My name is Coffee now. At least until we remember what my former name was.
mhm. And then you can save it for a nickname.
What's a nickname?
Oh, it's something that friends call you, just as a way to be fun.
Wait, does that mean we're friends?
Well, I don't know for sure, but
Let's say it's so.
Friendly, at
Okay,
least.
we're friends now.
Okay.
Then
We've shared a
thank
meal
you-
together. There's rules.
Thank you for helping me with this food and this coffee, which is my new favorite thing. I would like to help you get into this concert since it seems so
Oh.
important to you.
Yeah, even if you could just point me in the direction. I know it's in blah 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 square, but I know that's to the east. But
I send mental commands to the familiar to hurry it up with my dinner.
Definitely would have arrived by now. Certainly.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. I just kind of ran on the assumption just because we're approaching. We're at
Right,
6
right,
o'clock
right.
now. So.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you certainly returns with. I mean, your dinner. I'm assuming is something that was previously living.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Recently.
Recently,
Yeah.
warm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
are you eating a rat?
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Yep.
So I come, big rat. Yeah.
Yep.
I pick it up and I'm like, I'm sorry.
I can't see it. So
I
unless
tr-
you say
Mhm.
something, I have no clue.
Oh yeah, he hasn't even thought of that yet. He's just like, I
Mhm.
try and partake of all the different cultures, but charring food just seems so uncivilized. But
Just swallows it whole. Just.
then I look at my blind friend and I spit it up and go, "Oh, I'm sorry. Is that I don't. Is it bad that I did that? Is it bad that I'm asking that I did that? I
Don't know what you did, but if
Oh.
if it is not harming any sentient life, then I do not object. Whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
I lean over to
Sure.
Tunri and is like,
Mhm.
that looks like a smaller version.
And then just a lump going down his long throat down into his robes.
I understand the need for certain species to eat meat. I mean, I eat meat myself.
Fantastic. Okay, so coffee,
Not a
as you are now.
vegetarian monk. That would be
Coffee,
weird.
You're not sure why, but you have this sense of familiarity about the idea of moving through and around a city. Something about it just feels right and normal and natural to you. Something that you've clearly done so many times. You don't have memory, but it's rote knowledge. Something you can just do. And, yeah, how do you think that would manifest if your character doesn't have an active memory or intention, but feeling comfortable just kind of lapses into a habitual behavior you didn't even know you had, which such as like flagging someone down and asking them where something is?
Yeah, I feel like we get directions from somebody,
Okay.
and I start moving in that direction, and immediately things start to feel familiar, and that I don't have to pause to think about those directions. And in fact, I maybe start taking folks along a route that is faster than the directions that we got. But it just kind of feels right. Like I have a familiarity with this city that I didn't realize I had.
Okay. Yeah, so as you're moving, feeling more confident, less scared now, the city has a breath to it. It has a pulse. It has a ebb and flow that you can just feel, and you move around it with a comfort and ease that you didn't realize you could have. But nonetheless, with coffee as your guide, who's guiding Anatim? Because directly getting on a team because
like hand on the
otherwise you
shoulder kind of
probably
thing.
run into objects.
Just objects, not people.
Yeah, just
But yeah,
objects,
I put my hand on what was your name again? I'm sorry.
Tanri?
Tanri?
Huh?
Tanri.
Tanri. Thank you. Yeah, I put my hand on Tanri's shoulder, like, although you're really tall, so maybe on your
Maybe
elbow.
just like grabbing a sword belt.
Yeah, like
Or whatever belt.
Yeah, but yeah, you can see I'm really good at avoiding people. I'm shit at avoiding things.
Yeah.
Like I've walked into something again. Like
Okay.
I'm definitely using my staff as a tappy thing.
Well, the bright side is most obstacles tend to get out of the way of a tall armored horse person with the Corian logo splashed across his armor when you're in Shelzar.
Indeed.
There's the law.
5-0. So
Well,
yeah.
thank you for being so kind, Tanri. It's
It's kind of why we're here, is to show people that you can be orderly and still be kind. That's how I see it anyway.
I think that's a perfect place for a nice little scene transition. You
We're like
find
the nicest party.
it's perfect. As night falls on Shelzar and the air does not cool a degree, if you've ever been to Miami in July, you know.
Oh God.
I have. So anywho, the temperature doesn't really change, but that oppressive heat of the sun goes away at the very least, and it becomes kind of like the air is like an odd blanket all around you, comforting to some, I'm sure. Looking
I
at
like it.
yeah, looking at you.
It must smell so bad. like
My tongue is just darting everywhere, taking in everything.
so furry.
Yeah. But as you if you traverse into the city more, and you come to a region of the city that is clearly much more rich than the others, and coffee leads you all in as though you belonged there, bringing you to the square where you can see that crowds of people are beginning to already gather, and there's a stage that is being set up. As well as you notice various different colors of heraldry showcased on what are they called? Tabards, and occasionally on flags or on banners, but usually somewhat innocuous, standing in groups in strategic areas. Certainly, Tanri, you notice this. I don't know if. What Nyarlath's background is, if you knew anything about tactics.
I mean, like theoretically, maybe he read in a book. He's not very. He's a very unpractical person.
All right, I think I got the idea. Then it's one of those situations where you're wandering in, and Tanri is taking stock of all of the groups, and you're like, oh, they're from the Legion of Ash.
Right, I read about it. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes.
My character would know, but
the credo
It's
of my people.
small group of them, but they are in fact bearing the colors and the emblem of the Legion of Ash. Sorry, what were you saying there?
Oh, I was just about to say the credo of my people translates roughly to your tongue as well, actually.
Yep.
This concert is great. You're right. I just start clapping in the crowd.
Yeah, I probably tense up a little bit, and I'm kind of like,
All the rich people live in the district called Old Town.
Old Town? Okay.
And there's a street called Keely's Way. Sorry, I'm
No, that's good. Thank you.
cheating a little bit.
Please cheat away. I'm fine with tidbits. So excellent. If Ankeely's Way is a main route through Old Town, then
Keely's Way is Grand Boulevard.
Ankeely's Grand Boulevard.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what it says here.
that's extra. But then again, so is this area. So is Old Town.
so is Keely, for that matter.
Yeah. And the sense in the crowd is one of tense excitement. That feeling that you get as a kid before going to see fireworks, things like that. Where it's just this energy all around you. And as the setup nears completion, a beautiful, dark-skinned, appears to be maybe an elf, walks up on stage, wearing a very light robe in a striking like magenta and turquoise and these very vibrant colors, just very showy, and strides out to the middle of the stage, and two musicians bearing instruments follow her, and the crowd falls to a hush as the concert begins, and for the next several hours of just pure interaction and enjoyment, you kind of feel this sense of camaraderie building among the people. It's this purity somewhere in there. And the songs of this beautiful person up on stage all at once strike chords of sadness, as much as empathy, as much as joy, and it seems to bring a sense of calm, no matter where you go. I'm assuming that this would be quite interesting, specifically to Anatim, who
This is amazing.
seeks this out.
It's influencing all of the people around me. It's really amazing. It's like all the emotions are tying all together. It's really cool.
Do you think that Nyarlathotep has any particularly interesting thoughts about this? Feeling this calm emanating through the crowd?
Yeah. He's just interested in different cultures, people's practices, because he's read about everything, but he hasn't seen a whole lot yet.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just kind of seeing how unifying this reaction seems to be is at first it's an academic curiosity, but then he's getting into it.
Slowly, the reason fails to impulse. Not in a negative way this time. It is said that it is a rumor quite commonly passed among the people of Shalzar that Adria Sunasa, the woman singing on the stage, has been gifted this song, this gift, this power by Idra, and some claim it was from Enkili. Nonetheless, there seems to be some contention among the clergy of each over who kind of gets rights over whose side she's on.
As a GM, I totally ship Enkili and Idra as a couple. Just throwing that out there.
Well, let's not get into that. Let's not get into godly OTPs, okay? All right. Bringing it back in. And the concert begins to come to a close, and that sense of the sense of power only grows. And then and suddenly the power fades with a snap. Gone. Before the singing even finishes. And there's a sense of coldness and confusion. And the confusion you feel is mirrored on Adria Sunasa's face as she stares blankly at the crowd and collapses onto the stage, driving gasps from all around her and people rushing to help her.
What happened?
The crowd
That's part of the concert?
is
I
shifting.
think that's part of the show.
Something bad has happened.
I'm gonna send my familiar up that way.
Okay.
And look through its eyes.
All right.
That will certainly keep the situation calm and in hand.
So
Adorable.
what's his name? Hieronymus?
Hieronymus.
I honestly want to start making my way toward the stage.
Okay.
Like my little.
Yeah.
Maybe dragging Tonri with me. I don't know, but like, what happened?
Coffee.
Probably.
Yeah. Coffee and Anatim can move seamlessly through the crowd. Coffee, because you're small and you can literally just be like do 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 do, and then on a team because you can sense who is the least hostile and just move through them, a winding path. Nonetheless, Coffee, do you think you're making your way forward too?
Yeah, if everyone, if my new friends think something strange has happened, I will also move forward to investigate.
Okay.
I'm just impulsively going forward because somebody I'd liked is something happened and that's bad. And
If I'm getting dragged, I guess I'm going forward. I'm trying to figure out how, what's the right way to sort of keep order here and help keep people calm. Oh, we're going this way now. Okay.
Can I please be holding your hand? So I'm little and I'm moving through the crowd just fine, and you're like being dragged.
What? Yes,
it's going on my own, so follow me. You do.
Sorry. There. Oh, pardon.
Nayarlot, are you using the senses thing immediately, or are you waiting until you sense that he's up there?
Yeah, I'll wait till he gets up there.
Are you going to move to a different position, or just kind of?
I'll go somewhere where I'm a little more innocuous and I'm not going to get trimmed.
Yeah. So you find your way over to just let's say the side end of a currently out of use stall, like a market stall, and just press yourself against it so that you don't get trampled. And you get kind of that little empathic sense from Hieronymus that something interesting. So, fusing senses with your fiendish little cat, from above, from just outside of the torches, just outside the light of, or not just outside, but either way, shrouded by the light of a torch, Hieronymus has climbed up onto a pole and is looking down on the scene, and it looks terribly wrong, and you see that what appears to be a cleric of Idra seems to meander over in a hurry, and presses their hand to Adria Sunasa's neck, and then just comes away quiet. And it is at about that point that Coffee and
entourage
and our team,
Entourage.
yeah, and
Make it to the
entourage.
stage.
Coffee and entourage. That sounds like a product. You don't arrive at the stage, no. No, as you are making your way around to get your way to the stage, you see someone fleeing the scene.
Well, Coffee does.
Yeah, Coffee specifically. See someone fleeing the scene. Yeah. And Tanri, you also notice this. No one else seems to be fleeing.
Is that normal?
So I noticed specifically fleeing as opposed to, but like,
No one's running away in a panic yet, but there's a growing anxiety in the crowd, as there has been no announcement made and people are starting to demand answers. What happened? What's wrong? But this person seems to be making away hastily. So when I say fleeing, I mean they're not doing a very good job at blending.
Do I sense guilt? It's gonna be 160 feet of me, so
my
probably
smitey sense is definitely tingling.
My
Smitey
sense.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I would say that on a team you don't sense guilt,
Yeah, that's true too.
but you definitely sense a different kind of anxiety. Not an uncertainty, but the kind of anxiety that one feels from a rabbit fleeing from a wolf.
Ooh. Tanri is definitely, I'm kind of, if I can't tug my hands out, I'm definitely trying to sort of pull things across in the direction of fleeing person, because, going after fleeing person is also kind of a paladin instinct.
Okay.
And I'm looking around to try to see if there are guards that I can shout out to in the area who might be able to sort of close a net.
Okay. as you so you begin to try to press through the crowd, and the anxiety that they feel is beginning to press in on you, and they are pushing in on you, beginning to crush in on you. Coffee, you're able to slink out the side, and you're on the edge of the crowd, but it seems that Tanri is currently kind of trapped amidst these people. And Anatim, you are trapped with them. So, Nyarlathotep, before you break senses, you see, through the eyes of Hieronymus, what appears to be an urchin child crawl up onto the stage and just walk plainly over to the apparent corpse and just stare. And no one seems to stop them. No one seems to inhibit them, as though they don't notice them. And then an echoing voice fills the entire plaza. And it says, "Truly, you cannot be trusted with anything. You, people of Shelzar, have failed to protect what I love." And the child vanishes.
Uh-oh.
And you hear thunder crack and roil in the sky. And
Yeah, that's not good.
people begin to murmur in the crowd, "And Keely's wrath falls upon us," and begin to panic. You're able to get yourself free as the crowd's press spreads out for a moment. You all have but a moment to react and do something. What do you do?
Do I still see the fleeing person, or have they essentially like gotten away?
They have you see them just now pass into an alley, and you know you could catch them. You think you could.
Coffee, knowing that Tanri had wanted to stop the person, but is kind of caught in the crowd, I want to run after the person, and when I get to the alley, just instinctually grab one of my daggers and try to like throw it at their leg.
Okay. So would you say then that you are moving very hastily up to the edge of the alley, like sprint? Or are you moving
Like
cautiously?
dash?
Yeah, like dash.
Yeah.
I only ask that because, well, I mean, Lysa, have you played Rogue in 5th edition?
I have, yes.
Okay, yeah, because cunning action, of course, you can do all kinds of things while you're running, because you're a rogue, while you're dashing.
Yeah. So I guess I'll use my bonus action to dash and then throw my dagger once I see them.
I'll go ahead and say it'll take you 2 effective combat rounds to get to where you need to be, unless you... Well, sorry, no, if you're dashing, it'll take you 1 round to get there, and then the next round. Sorry, just... No, you're right, yeah, you could do it in 1 round. Rogues.
Okay, yeah.
Rogues. Rogues. It's been a while.
Halfling just do move slightly slower, but yeah.
Right, but only marginally.
And faster in a crowd.
Yeah, true,
Much
because you
faster
can
in a
go
crowd.
through spaces with other people in
They
them.
can do the little toddler dodge.
Yep. Rogues are... I love 5th edition rogues. They are the best.
They're fantastic. Okay, so...
Should I roll to hit, or...?
I'm not going to have you roll to hit quite yet. What I would like you to roll is choose either athletics or acrobatics, and please just roll on that real quick, and I'll tell you about why in a moment.
15 plus 5, so 20.
Okay, you're very zippy. So, Tanri, what are you doing?
Are there any guards or mercenaries or anybody in what looks like a good position to react, or?
It seems like most of the mercenaries here are more interested in protecting. They seem to be circled around people and like things like that. Shops, individuals, maybe nobles, or crime lords. Things like that.
So, same thing.
Right there, but you.
There's no crime in Shelzar.
There's no laws.
There is no war in Ba Sing Se. So yeah, you're the only like true law and order that you can see here. But The
Crap.
mercenaries do seem to be trying to assert some kind of order, at least calm people down, but they're not really helping people.
Yeah. Oh, try to solve the crime, try to keep the peace, try to solve the crime, try to keep the peace.
Why don't you chew on that for a second? We can always go to someone else.
No, it's fine. I'm going to... one thing that the Ironbred are noted for is that they have very loud, sort of braying voices. Kind of horsey.
Grating, unsettling, if you allow it.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, arms up. Everybody be calm!
All right.
And I'm going to roll on Persuade. Oh my gosh, I rolled a nat 20 on Persuade, which is not as impressive as it sounds because that brings me to a 24, but hey.
I mean, that's impressive enough, yeah. Like a shockwave, the mood shifts from uncertain fear to, oh God, what was that? And everyone turns.
Everybody chill out!
Everyone turns and looks. And for a moment, you have their rapt attention. What do you say to them?
If it's a God's will that the city is gone, then the city is gone. But in the meantime, let's try to figure out what happened here. She's been murdered or something, and we should try to fix that. We all were here to listen to her. She had a beautiful voice. Let's make sure that she gets justice.
The thunder grows louder, and droplets of rain begin to splat upon the paving stones. And you hear in the distance
it's literally raining out right now.
Fantastic.
In real life.
The cacophonous roar of distant wind pulling in from the ocean. And the people, some of them seem to rally and agree and begin and find themselves and start beginning to try and assert order. A lot of them, people like shopkeepers and things like that. Individuals who have, well, a vested stake in this place. And of course, being showed up by their lessers, some of the nobles begin to do the same. A couple of people do things like hop up on the stage and start screaming about how it was those filthy cult of what's her name?
Cult of the Ancients.
Belsmith.
Belsameth, yeah, Belsameth. I couldn't remember her name for some reason, but yeah, like filthy cult of the Ancients. People screaming conspiracy theories and some beginning to level blame at other parties.
Yeah.
And you seem to have created some sense of order in that moment, but you're not sure if it will last. So let's move to Anatim.
I would have been trying to make my way toward the stage still. I get advantage when I have this contortionist ability, so I get advantage on escape checks to go through tight spaces. So
all right, yeah.
I'm hoping that I can use that to twist my way through the crowd.
Yeah, I actually won't make you roll for that. I tend to count advantages like a +10 in passive terms, so if it's not a dangerous situation, it's irrelevant. So yeah, you're able to just by you begin to engage some of your training and your physical bodied abilities that and center yourself, and you are to the stage in no time flat. As you come up to it, and
on my way, I'm thinking like this is, as I understand it, Shelzar is Inkeeli's sacred city. I mean, this is where there are more Inkeeli followers here than anywhere in Skarn. She wouldn't just abandon it. Like that something's going on. That's bad. Like to smite her own city, was that actually Inkeeli speaking or someone else?
Good question.
So I'm all like kind of really super suspicious about what's really going on here.
That's fair. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and make me a religion check?
I do have proficiency in it. Doesn't help much, but I got a 12.
Okay. I mean, you know everything that you said. That it's this place is purported to be a stronghold of Inkeeli. and of course Idra as well. But Idra being a minor god, so
Yeah. There's a huge temple of Inkili on the hill. I mean, that's
yeah, it is their holy place, and so yeah, you do feel that suspicion burning in you.
It's weird. But,
Very
yeah.
weird.
And then I'll just try to like examine what's going on as so much as I can. And like they're gonna let me? Like really? They're not gonna let me. But
They're definitely not gonna let you.
No.
As you amble up on stage, your feet striking on wood rather than paving stones, and a resounding thunk thunk thunk. Someone hears you coming and turns around and puts a hand out and tells you to stop and won't let you past. You need to turn around and go back into the crowd and go back home. And they have a very aggressive demeanor about them.
I have some healing ability. Maybe I could help. I study medicine, sir, ma'am.
Why don't you roll me a persuade?
Uh-oh. With my +1 in charisma.
Hooray!
That's a 13.
Okay.
I'm trying.
He pauses and he says, "Appreciated then. Unfortunately, she's already dead."
Well, I'd be crying, but I have no eyes.
Okay. a little good lip quiver.
Yeah.
All right. So then, Nyarlathotep.
When Nyarlathotep's new Ironbread friend got the crowd's attention and everyone kind of stopped what they were doing, he's going to take a quick scan and see if there are any pockets of people not reacting the way the other people are reacting.
No one that you can see.
Okay. In that case, he's going to move towards I guess the easiest person to see right now is the Ironbread, so he's going to move in that direction.
Okay.
Hi, my nickname is Landmark.
Landmark.
You're tall.
Yeah,
just like you are in
tall.
real life.
Yeah, exactly.
You just do that thing with the arm.
Okay. So then, Nyarlathotep, you begin moving toward our lovely Ironbread friend Tanri. Are you bringing Hieronymus with you or directing them somewhere else?
I am going to have Hieronymus keep up above Vantage and
Okay.
Look about for me and let me know if he notices anything.
Sure. Hieronymus, with the languid ease of cats, just leaps onto a rooftop and begins trotting along. Occasionally when you look back, you see shadowed against starlight and moonlight, though fading now in the bringing of clouds, the shape of a small feline. And every time you check, basically keeping Overwatch on you. Has that sense of, I'm watching Daddy. Okay. So, we are at our halfway point at this moment. So what I'd like to do very much is if we could just take a brief bio break. If we can go ahead and get some water, do whatever you need to. Let's take just a couple minutes, and we will be back shortly.
Don't forget about...
And we are back. I hope everyone got some water, went to the bathroom, got a snack, something rather. I don't know, did a little dance, shook your legs.
Shifted my chair slightly.
Hey, same. High five. Shifted my chair slightly. So yeah, this is Onyx Path Con, and I'm Bran from Gehenna Gaming, master storyteller with Gehenna Gaming, helping to run Onyx Path Con, during which we are raising money for the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. Is that it? Did I get the name right?
You got the name right.
Yeah, and then for
College
the Bodhana Group as well. So if you haven't already, please check out. I think it's onyxpathcon.com, though I'm sure that the mods have some lovely prompts for that, and you can get more information. So please check it out. Make some donations, and hopefully you get to join in some games this weekend during the con, because there's gonna be a lot going on. We got panels, we got other games, we got some more streamed games going on. So it's gonna be a blast. I might get to play in a game on Sunday. I'm hoping. We'll see.
There's still room in our game. Fran and I are running on Sunday at afternoon.
What game is that?
Our Scardlands game.
Oh.
And that's
I might have to do that.
That's at 4 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So, and there's at least one slot left.
Well,
and even if there isn't, I could squeeze you in. No, we can run for 5, and they they don't have the sign up for 5. So
I will say this, that having done the organization last time we did the con, the digital horror con, virtual horror con, having done the GM schedules, I'm not going to do that to anyone unless it's like absolutely last minute and it's okay. Otherwise, I appreciate it, and I'll see if I can join.
It's literally no big deal.
Yeah.
You were muted, Fran. You said something.
Oh, I'm a doofus.
I think she was describing the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a game of blood, piracy, and terrible puns.
On the blood sea. It's vigilant training mission, maritime patrol.
Because it's piracy and blood, then it must be rated R. You said terrible puns. I'm sorry.
Oh no. The subtitle of the adventure. The subtitle of the adventure is "Oh buoy, what a bloody ordeal."
Oh man.
Because I am horrible, and I'm not a punster, and somehow I still came up with it, and somehow Fran still let me keep it.
All right, so let's let's bring it back in. Just moments ago, the sky split with thunder and rain began to fall. Everyone, I think on the team we had not addressed what you were doing afterwards, but I'm assuming everyone was kind of gathering on Tanri, though I have not addressed Coffee's role yet, which is what I'm going to do first. But I just want to check off where everyone is right now. So on a team, Nyarlathotep and Tanri gathering near the edge of the crowd. Is that right? You guys were joining?
Yes, I believe so.
Or
yeah, I'm getting kicked off the stage, so I guess I'll go find the others.
Fair enough. Yeah, you are getting kicked off the stage. And they become more aggressive the more you resist them. They were appreciative at first, and they're like, please just leave. But...
yeah.
Coffee. Many moments ago, you had run off after the fleeing individual. And your feet falling steadily on the dry and wet mottling of the beginning of a rainstorm on these paving stones, and you dodge around a cart in the near the edge of the plaza, moving around and tumbling into the edge of an alley with a dagger at the ready, and you see a figure climbing what appears to be a rope up to a taller rooftop.
I mean, I don't necessarily... Well, how high up the rope are they?
Well... tall enough that you think it would hurt and not kill them if they fell.
Okay. I think... I mean, Coffee doesn't even know that she throws daggers. So she's kind of running on instinct right now. So I think she's going to instinctually try to throw it at them.
Okay.
Maybe at a hand rather than a leg if they're climbing.
Okay. Yeah, you have the action, so go right ahead.
Okay. This is not a high number.
How unfortunate.
I rolled a 6, plus 5, so 11.
Okay. So you tumble into the open end of the alley, you pull out that dagger, and you whip it as hard as you can, as far as you can, as accurate as you can, and it just, like, spins sideways and clatters off the wall, causing the figure to look at you, and then continue to climb.
Can I observe their visage?
It is dark, and beginning to rain, and they appear to be wearing a cowl.
And you don't have dark vision.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess then I'll just kind of run to the rope and start trying to climb to pursue them.
Okay. You're wait, are you a shoe-wearing halfling or a barefoot halfling?
Oh,
That's your
I
good
want to wear
question.
some cute shoes with little curly toes.
I think barefoot halflings on Scarred Lands could be dangerous given all the.
Oh,
I don't know.
certainly.
I don't know.
I'm willing to fudge it either way. I was just kind of thinking, like, I don't know, for immersion's sake. Yeah, I mean, hey, why not? You know. So apparently wearing curly little shoes, which I think is adorable. The wholesomeness level continues to climb. Welcome to Onyx Path Con. Wholesome. All right. So let's dodge over to Nyarlathotep, because I feel like I did not give you enough screen time during those last moments before, even though we tagged in with you. You reach Tanri. And
yes, do you know what's going on exactly? Do gods often meddle with concerts?
Well, this is my first concert, so I'm not entirely sure. The gods do definitely meddle, but this something's definitely going on, but it's something odd. I mean, I know in Keely well, my god's not exactly a fan of her, but even he isn't known for this kind of capriciousness.
Can I make a religion roll? I'm proficient in
yes.
I've read many books.
Actually, I should probably do
19.
that because I'm proficient.
Wow.
That's better than me.
Yeah, so the concept of deific interventions is definitely not foreign. Though I think the best words to describe them would often be capricious, unless, something almost contractual. Like, for example, being a cleric or a paladin. So unless you're a part of an order of some sort, deific interventions can range from deadly to leaving you with different colored hair. It just really depends, but it does happen. The divines do walk Skarn. They visit the places that are auspicious to them on a regular basis. Sometimes for meditation, sometimes for admiration, sometimes for reasons unknown.
Madriel might just show up to your wedding one day.
Yeah, be like, this is the most beautiful wedding ever, guys. I love it.
What happened in party?
Although the demigods are more likely to show up than the eight greater gods.
That's always true.
But yeah.
Fair. And as far as this city is concerned, as mentioned previously, Enkili is the greater god who is worshipped most here. And then Idra is the minor god who is worshipped a lot. Because her acts of worship are sex and intimacy. So.
And fertility.
Is that an act of worship?
She's the goddess of fertility, so if you want to have good crops or good babies,
you choose. It's one or the other. No, you made her mad. But yeah, so that's ultimately what you'd know.
Really more good babies, I think.
Well, so we seem to be down one amnesic halfling.
Yeah. Have I caught up to them by this point?
Yeah, if you're trying to chase down coffee, you're going to have a difficult time of it. Mostly because there are objects. That said, if you would make me an acrobatics check, I'm just going to raise the DC basically. Actually, no. Just roll with disadvantage. Roll acrobatics with disadvantage, and let's see if you can move quickly enough and pick your way around objects, even if they are in your path.
This is all of us?
Sorry, this is Anatim.
So you want me to do acrobatics?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, acrobatics with disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Right.
Okay.
We're just basically
If we
seeing
cancel. Okay.
if you had advantage, then yeah, it would cancel out.
I have advantage if it's in a tight space because of conversion.
Oh,
Otherwise,
right. Okay. Then yeah, just roll
then
regular.
Cancel each other out. 20.
Wow. All right.
Wow.
You surprise yourself
16.
with your intuitive ability to sense where objects are at this point, and you you begin to just kind of go by instinct, moving quickly over to Tanri and joining them. And then were you attempting to chase down Coffee?
I was just trying to find the two of them and figure out where they're going because I'm like, that way didn't work, so what are you guys up to?
Right. I'm going to keep that result that you kind of gained this intuitive sense, due to maybe a sense of crisis, for the scene. Yeah. So.
Okay. Did I see where Coffee went?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
You saw Coffee sprint off after the figure that was running away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think at least when I get to the bottom of the rope and I'm about to climb up and leave the alley that I ran down, I like to think that at the coffee shop, I liked the coffee so much, I insisted everyone buy me like coffee beans. So I want to just grab a handful of those and like scatter them down the alley and like at the bottom of the rope and stuff.
Okay.
So
I like
have
that.
A little like Hansel and Gretel trail.
I get that.
A trail of coffee, something that that any game master, any TTRPGer could follow.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Ever. Not very effective caltrops, but definitely effective at the old Hansel and Gretel. I'm here.
Yeah. So, perfect. Are you guys just heading straight off after coffee then?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm following them.
Yeah. So you move with all haste toward the alley, and as you're moving along, Anatim, you feel crunching underneath your feet, and you hear crunching, and suddenly you smell coffee. And Nerlot, you also taste coffee in the air. You're like, why do I smell coffee?
She's here somewhere.
It is not hard to notice a halfling just hoisting up over the lip of the roof from a rope and charging off after a figure unknown.
If she's within 60 feet of me, I beat in on her and follow her.
Okay. Yeah. So as a monk, can't you just like gain not a climb speed, but climb really, really fast? I think I don't remember.
Not as a Slytherin, you can.
As a Slytherin, I can.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I still have to roll, but
that's fair. I didn't make a roll because there's no apparent danger, so I'm not going to make you roll either. I would say that you amble up without issue as soon as you find it. Takes you a moment to find it. You're like, there's a thing. What are you talking about? But you are able to sense the emotions and recognize the halfling coffee, not just the beans.
If she's within 60 feet of me, I can find her and then triangulate from there.
just barely.
Just barely.
Nyarlathotep and Tanri, what are you both doing? You gonna amble up the rope, or? You see the figure is beginning to run along the rooftops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How good are you?
I'm going to try, and I'm going to send a mental signal to Hieronymus to head in that direction if he's within range of me doing that.
Yeah.
How are you at climbing?
Let's find out.
Okay.
All right, now I have to make you make a climb check because you said that.
Yes.
Sorry. Stop helping the GM, Fran.
No, this could lead to fun. Athletics?
Yeah.
All right.
I actually
I
have
rolled a
positive
3,
modifier on
which
that,
turns
so-
into a 2 with my modifier.
Oh, that's not good.
It is the knotted rope, so it's very easy to climb. But man, you are struggling. You're just like, how does this work? How do
don't
people do this? But I'll just
Ropes
say,
are
Use-
stupid.
Use your legs.
you're trying to pull yourself up just with your arms.
Tail, maybe.
Tail. I will say though that because it is a knotted rope, and if you just take your time, you can certainly do it.
Okay, I'll take my time.
Yeah, it
Why
was
do
just
people not use a pole like normal beings?
a pole.
Yeah, snake.
Oh.
You know, wrap around. With
Oh my
right wing
goodness.
in there. They'll just.
You just take your snake handling and go over there. No, that's fine. So, Coffee, you seem to be gaining on this person, or at least you feel like you are. You're on the same roof as them now, and they are just about 30 feet from you at the end of your turn.
I kind of want to try to like run and tackle them, even though I'm really bad at that.
Okay.
It just seems like it would be fun.
All right, so it's going to occur on the next round. Quotes there.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead and just make me an athletics check? Or
But I have a positive modifier in that.
good.
Thank you.
Good. Thumbs up.
11.
Okay. Good. You continue to chase, and you hurry and hustle and sprint. So, Anatim, you are at this point catching up to your halfling friend and catching up to the perpetrator or seeming perpetrator. What are you doing?
I don't have the halfling bonus action, but I do have a base move of 40 because
Mhm.
monk.
Mhm.
So if I can reach the perpetrator, I'm going to smack the perpetrator in the head and make him stop running away.
You can sense the perpetrator at this point, and you can see them. So,
Okay, so basically they're within 60 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
but
if you
I
want to
probably can't-
roll, if you want to make a roll to like go up there and clock them, I will allow you to do that. And I have the scene building in my head.
Yeah, thinking like you know, I'm trying to disable not damage. You know,
Okay, yeah,
I mean,
attempting to do
subdual-
non-lethal
subdual
subdual,
attack,
yeah.
subdual. Is that,
Okay.
I believe that's a
That's sufficient.
yeah. Oof. But not when I roll a 3. So that's a whole 7.
We were just talking about before the game how people are free to use their own die because I'm fine with the honor system, or free to use digital dice rollers, and how digital dice rollers often suck because it's just like they'll just give you strings of bad numbers. But apparently, this scene hates the players. Okay, so
I'm not cheating on the dice. So
no, yeah. I mean,
I rolled a 16 earlier. Now it's a 3. Does this dice belong in prison or not? I don't know.
so due to the time it takes Nyarlathotep to finish climbing the rope, Coffee, you dive at you dive at the knees of this person who's fleeing, this strange person, and you feel you get a surge of elation as you grasp hold of their cloak, and then fall short and clatter against rooftop tiles and begin to slide. And Anatim, you leap over the falling form of Coffee.
Well, I'd catch her in lieu of punching the guy because
Oh.
I don't want to fall to her death. but yeah. Anyway, I was
That's
already
fair.
in mid-punch,
You
so.
don't know how yeah you were already mid punch. So I would
Yeah.
say in that last moment you leap just to not stumble on Coffee, and just whiff really wide, and the
Yeah.
roof is not where you think it should be. That's strange. Uh-oh, I'm falling. So it happens when you're blind and you're running on rooftops.
Well, and I don't have that monk falling ability yet. It's like next level, you know.
I'm as blind as a rat. You mean a bat? No.
No.
I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
All right. It's 19. Or was it me or
Yeah, you,
Is it
yeah.
19?
Coffee, I'll go ahead and also make me one. But Anatsim, against all odds, you catch yourself on a beam sticking out of one of the buildings. You just catch yourself without harm, but you certainly can tell that you're not near the ground.
Got a 7.
Okay.
Oh no.
I think this falls onto Nyarlathotep and Tanri, who have just crested the roof, and you're watching Coffee roll toward the edge of the roof.
Oh, crap.
You did make it. Congratulations.
Can we do anything? I mean...
How far away are we?
Gonna grab her.
You're just about 40 feet away.
Do we just see Coffee, or do we also see whom Coffee is chasing?
You see a figure on a more distant roof now, on another roof, having cleared a gap, and you don't see your monk friend anywhere.
Crap.
I update my commands to Hieronymus to chase this new figure.
Okay.
And for my part, if I can, I'd have to double move, but if as part of a move action I can grab onto Coffee, that's what I will do.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess athletics is what I would call it. Or acrobatics, I don't know.
Acrobatics, good, because I have proficiency in that. I like that.
It is balancing right now for you if you're charging, especially with hooves across a rooftop.
Yeah. Don't fall down, don't fall down, don't fall down. Mountain goat, mountain goat, mountain goat.
Take everyone out with me.
16 on acrobatics.
Wow.
Okay.
Yep.
If you've never seen a giant horse person run across a roof, well, I'm imagining that it sounds a lot like attempting to play a xylophone made of terracotta.
Clippity clop.
Just smash, and and running, and you do manage to snatch Coffee from falling off of the roof. Though you think the fall would probably not be fatal, it would certainly be disabling. So,
yeah. Although it might have restored her memory.
Ah, yes, darn. The god of memory loves falls. But yeah, so you now a lot. You watch Tanri just charge, and like the tiles and shingles are starting to break free and move under their footfalls, and they're dodging back and forth. But they manage to catch your friendly halfling, and neither of them fall. So, what are you doing?
Who is the god of memory?
I want to beeline towards this escaping figure.
Wouldn't that be Munin? Sorry. Beeline toward escaping figure. Okay. So I will have you roll me an acrobatics as well.
All right. That's a 7.
Ooh.
Okay. You do not feel remotely stable or confident in your ability to traverse this roof at the speeds necessary to catch the person. However, Hieronymus seems quite capable, and Hieronymus is running across the rooftops and just bounding and following.
You have some kind of spell.
How far away is the assailant?
It's hard to judge, but what spell are you thinking of using?
Let's see here.
It's definitely not close range. That's all I could say, unless you're high level.
Possibly chill touch, possibly suggestion if within 30 feet. But
no, that's
otherwise.
Yeah, that would be close range, within 30 feet, not that close.
Then
so
in that case,
a ways off.
Chill touch, which I'm blanking now on.
Yeah, doesn't that have like 120 foot range or
I
something?
think so. Yep, 120.
Okay.
All right. In that case, Nyarlathotep chants an ancient Asathi, and he reaches to the catacombs between dimensions where ancient saints of the Asathi people from the ancient empire exist. And a little portal opens up above the head of the assailant, and a mummified Asathi hand, bejeweled, reaches down and grabs him. And that's just a really long way to say, I'm casting chill touch.
That's amazing.
That's wonderful.
That
Come here,
is
punk.
15.
Get over here. All right, 15.
Get over
Yeah,
It's amazing.
that is certainly sufficient.
here. All right. And that is 6 necrotic damage.
Ouch.
And the hand clutches, and the person cannot heal until the end of my next turn.
All right. Let me... I didn't actually have any dice on me, because I'm smart, because I don't often make rolls. We'll just give it to the story then. You see the figure stumble, as they have been shocked and surprised and very startled, as bits of their flesh,
Visual
like,
aid, there we go.
yeah,
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Nice.
wonderful.
In fact, we'll say this is my arcane focus is a mummified waxen hand. But
I love it. This hand reaching out from between dimensions, with fingers not merely icy but chilling to the very soul, gripping onto their head. So they're intensely alarmed, and they try and rip it away, and they can't. Their hand passing through this ghastly thing, and they take a stumble and begin to fall.
But I like that someone had to remind Nyarlathotep in an emergency situation that he has spells, because he's
like you
not
hear the
used
voice.
to he's not used to practical.
Aren't you
Like,
a necromancer?
no, I'm a
Yeah.
yes. You do my thing.
I like shouted that from wherever I'm hanging that none of you can see. Don't you have magic or something?
It's all theory.
Wizard, to make yourself useful. All right, fantastic. You watch Hieronymus continue to chase the falling figure.
Finish him, Hieronymus.
Get him.
There's feather fall when we need it.
Oh no.
Okay, so
Quick level up before you hit.
Nyarlathotep, you are spent for the moment. So then we will move over to Anatim, who you have managed to pull yourself up onto this beam, and you can feel
Can I
that
get
there's.
myself back up onto the roof?
Oh, yeah, I'll give that to you.
I'm fully safe.
You can feel
I think
it,
that's all I'm
and
trying to do.
you can clamber up, but that would be basically your turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody okay? Climb.
you're all okay, miraculously. Let's move out of combat phases. What are you all doing? Continuing the chase, or
I don't know where he went.
I'd point out to where it happened. If any.
I was
I
going
can
to
see
ask
over there.
Henry to throw me.
town raid.
across the gap. Yeah, I can do that. Maybe. What do I roll?
I would
Ranged
personally.
attack? Just kidding.
Probably athletics.
Probably athletics. Yeah.
Because I mean,
Sadly,
you're
it's-
hurling. You're not really throwing. You know.
Yeah, I know. Tenri is more enthusiastic than qualified in this area. So, nat 20. Okay.
Yay!
You know, I'm really more enthusiastic than qualified, but I'll give it a shot, and it's
Yeah.
perfect. No,
Straight-
so,
yeah.
what was the total?
20.
Oh, the total's 20. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, more enthusiastic than qualified.
Well, I would consider that certainly sufficient. So now I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw, Coffee,
Okay.
to see if you land well.
I'm now picturing the Iron Bread as having some kind of variant of the Highland Games where they, you know.
This is
That's
much
a-
better this time. An 18.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. The shingles beneath your feet hardly move as you tumble or do a breakout roll across them, though they do make a gentle clattering. And you can see the figure. They are practically within spitting distance. And they look up at you, and you see the face of a young man. And his eyes are full of fear. And he tries clambering to his feet to run away.
And I'm just gonna say, stop.
I mean, persuade, I guess? Yeah.
You can do it.
+3. I can do this thing.
I think I actually built expertise into persuade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 15.
Okay. You get a response, which is more than you thought you'd get, which is he just says, "No, never." And he just keeps running. He says it in Shelsari.
Oh, do I know that? Oh, Shelsari, yes I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
He yells in Shelsari, "Absolutely not. No, never." And attempts to continue running away. That said, I would consider that, I don't know if I'd consider that an action, and you do still have all kinds of fun things you can do as a rogue. Is there anything else you'd like to attempt?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad if it's just like a kid. I don't want to stab him.
You can tell if an elf is a kid. Anyway, rhetorical question.
But what would Coffee do? Because she has all of these instincts to use all these knives and blades that she had in her pack, which is surprising her.
Well, maybe you attempt to, I don't know, pin their cloak to a beam or something.
Ooh, yeah, that's cool.
That
Yeah, I want to try to do that cool thing.
It's easier than hitting someone's hand.
Yeah. What do I roll to do that? Is it just?
I would just say roll an attack.
Okay.
And it's a trick shot, so roll with disadvantage.
Okay.
But you're really good with knives, so hopefully it'll be good.
I got 2 natural 20s.
What? I mean, I believe you. I believe
I'm
you.
gonna
but-
take a picture.
Okay, yeah, please take a picture. Let's do it.
I love it.
Oh my
Are
goodness.
you gonna guess the picture? I don't know, but
No, it's fine. Hold on to it. I'm excited to see it.
Wow.
You guys.
I think that means everyone has to take shots
One
and
of them's
donate.
like a little symbol.
Oh yeah.
2 natural 20s.
No, I see that. Oh wow. That is amazing.
Cool. So I do a cool thing.
All right.
In a cool way.
So I guess instinct overtakes you, and maybe you're a little mad that this young man just chose not to listen to your brilliant speech of "Hey, stop," and so you whip a dagger just at the rooftop. Kind of aim. It's aimed at where his legs are right now, and you just kind of do it without thinking. And the dagger digs deep, bites deep into a beam in the rooftop, and catches the cloak. And it becomes bundled up, and his feet get ripped out from under him. And he slides off the roof, dangling by his cloak.
Oh, that's so cool.
We suspect Coffee is actually very cool.
We suspect. More studies needed. No. Okay.
I feel like she probably snaps back into like concussion at like forgetting herself mode, and is like reacts the way I did, like oh
How
Oh my
violent.
goodness.
got surprised.
yeah.
Okay.
Like she's shocked herself.
Tanri and Anatim. You hear a
Okay,
clamor and a commotion over there, but
Are they're beyond 60 feet?
not for you. You're on the edge of the roof. You can definitely sense their emotions and see where they are,
Okay.
but they're
so
just the edge.
Yeah. So I couldn't make the jump to the other rooftop.
I think you could. It's just a matter of being able to judge distances. So you'd probably need someone standing on the edge.
Yeah, hanging from the edge isn't sufficient then.
Oh, sorry. I didn't explain that well enough. You are at a gap, and they are further down. And they're on the slope side of the roof. Meanwhile, you're on the you're kind of running parallel to the gables of the roof.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Poor explanation. Sorry.
guess I'll just like shuffle slide in their direction. Does that make sense? Or I don't have to jump a gap or anything like that then to get
No,
there?
you could feasibly get there otherwise. But I think you're probably gonna need help.
Yeah. Well, I figure I'm
Hmm.
either moving cautiously at half move or I need help.
Right.
Because I'm like, I don't know where the edge is. So I'm going to keep my feet on the, and just shuffa something. Because I actually don't wear shoes after my whole halfling should, and I don't. And that was so super hypocritical of me. So
It is by this time that the rain begins to come down in earnest.
Oh, great, slippery.
Though you don't feel any wrath in the storm. It's a somber, soaking rain, and it arose from nowhere, obviously, or somewhere. But let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to you all descended from the roofs, maybe in an alley just below, with the figure bound, maybe?
Yeah.
Necromancers carry rope.
How else are you going to carry around all those corpses?
Well, certain
It's very
paladins do
practical.
too a little bit, but
Okay. So, sitting before you in this now rain-soaked alley is a very soggy, very tired, very afraid-looking young man who looks to be of the descent of is it Els, the old empire? Yeah.
Oh, he's
Elven.
not an elven.
No,
He's
oh,
an
no,
elven, not an elven.
Yeah, not elven. Yeah,
Oh, I thought
Elsen.
he was an elf.
Yeah, sorry,
Mhm.
muttering.
Mhm.
Okay.
But yeah, he's dark-skinned, dark-haired,
Mhm.
just and looking up at you, like, "What are you going to do with me?"
You know something about what happened at the concert.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was just attending the concert and I got scared and I ran.
Uh-huh.
You ran though as if you knew something, not just as if you were scared. No one else ran like you did.
So sorry, I
tell
almost
us.
hurt you. Oh. I don't know what came over me.
He looks at on the team and he blinks and he's like, "How did you know I was running?" Never mind. He's just he looks around and he goes, "Who are you? What do you want?"
I don't know.
I'm here to protect this city and the people in it. They're scared right now. They think that Inkili has deserted them or come to smite the city or something. Because Adria Sinasa has fallen over dead.
Mm.
And if you know something about that, you have to tell people, because otherwise people are going to get hurt. They're probably getting hurt in the panic right now.
Is that an intimidation roll I smell?
I guess that's kind of where it's edging to. It was supposed to be persuasion, but I imagine,
I mean, you can use
probably-
it for persuade. Listen, gaslighting is persuasion.
Hey, yeah. I'll roll. Well, it doesn't really matter. Did not do super well. That's just a 12 either way.
He's pretty shaken already. So he stares at you for a long, meaningful moment, and he says, "I don't know. I didn't know that was gonna happen. I didn't know it was gonna happen. I swear, I didn't know it was gonna happen. I was just supposed to tell. I was just supposed to be there, and then when the thing happened, I was supposed to go and report to someone else."
What thing? And who do you report to?
I don't know their name. Do you not know? You must not be from around here.
No.
Maybe he has the same thing I have.
Hmm.
I'm helping.
Explain it to us like we're new.
I'm a runner. I just run information for people who pay me to run information, and usually it's pretty mindless stuff, right? Like, I mean, like, I wasn't gonna hurt anyone. I wasn't gonna kill anyone. I was just running information. That's all. And
What was the information that you ran to?
they just said to me that I needed to watch the concert, and I mean, I jumped at it because someone like me, I don't get to watch concerts like that. But I was supposed to watch the concert, and they said that something big was going to happen at the end, and then I needed to go, and they were paying me to go tell someone. I was supposed to meet them, and he gives you an address of street corners. He's like, I swear, if you want, just take my place. Take the money even. I don't want anything to do with this.
Can I get an insight check on
Sure.
on him? That's a natural 20.
Oh my god.
They're so powerful.
If he's very strongly emotions, I get an advantage on any insight check too. So.
He does have very strong emotions right now. This seems to be mostly fear. There is something he's hiding. You're sure of it.
I also got a natural 20.
Oh my god.
I got a 25.
This poor kid.
Wow.
We can read him like a book.
Yeah.
Well, you can read him like a book.
Let's pretend you were hiding something from us. What would you say that is?
So it's the giant snake man with the
I'm
undead
sorry.
cat on his shoulder.
I only have experience questioning cadavers.
This is the kindly rat person who does not have kindly eyes because
This is such a great odd party. I love it.
every Scarlands party in 5th edition is a great odd party because everyone plays furries.
Or some other
That's what
flavor
we're
of
here for.
weirdo.
So, yeah.
Dailies.
He stares at you for a long moment, and I'm assuming
Don't
you have
blink.
one of those like open, kind of honest looks. Like, yes, I mean that question.
Oh yeah. Like it didn't even come out like a threat. Just like that's what I do.
Right. He's just like, only if you get me out of here. You gotta hide me.
Out of where? Out of Shelzar?
I wasn't supposed to be listening on a conversation, and I might have learned something. That's kind of a big deal. Really, really big deal. I didn't know it was going to be this big of a deal.
If you can help us prevent the carrying out of some greater crime involved in all of this, I promise you that my brotherhood will keep you safe and make sure that the information is used to deliver justice.
That sounds fair.
And even more importantly, before Inkili or whatever god it was who was so upset by her death decides to, strike us all down with lightning, it would be helpful. Any information that you have to resolve the situation
At that
could
moment,
benefit all of the city.
at that moment, he kind of just, the weight of it all kind of hits him, and he gains that shell-shocked look. His face becomes sallow and pale, and his eyes go wide, and he goes, "Oh my God! It looks like I pissed off the gods." And he's just like kind of like slow, and he's slowly absorbing it, but he just says, he then says, okay. I don't know. It was some priest of Vangal was talking with one of my bosses, and there was something going on, and I don't know what, but I didn't like it, and I didn't want to be involved, and I didn't think this was involved because it was unrelated. But I don't know. I'm starting to wonder now.
What did he say?
I only heard him say they have to pay for their slights, and I don't know who he was talking about. I mean, people say that kind of thing all the time. Are you kidding me? Like, this is Shelzar. But so I didn't think much of it at the time. But
Bengal's priests say that all the time too.
This is a big deal. Like, I mean, I don't want to die. I don't want to get struck down. I don't want to get turned into a monster.
You've been honest. Corian will protect you from that as much as he's able.
Okay. He just like nods and he says, "That's all. That's all I got. I'm sorry. That's all. I don't know anything else."
It's better than nothing.
Here I go. I reach into my under my cloak on my my jerkin over my armor and pull off a patch and say, you know where the Paladin's garrison is, right?
He looks down and then looks at his tied hands, and he nods. He goes, "Yeah, I know where they are. That
You're gonna go there. You're gonna tell them that Tanri sent you, that you're here in the service of justice and begging forgiveness. They will take you in, they will feed you, and they will protect you from whatever comes."
You see his eyes become a little glistening in the wan light of the night, and he nods and
pull out my dagger. Well, actually, I don't pull out my dagger. I just pull the slip knot in the bindings and
like a good Boy Scout.
lift the rope loose. Yep.
Well, yeah,
exactly.
don't wreck Nyarlath's rope.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Also, a little tea tree and coconut oil will help that necrotic handprint in your forehead. It'll clear up in 3-4 months.
Yeah, he suddenly like just like reminded of it, and he like touches it, and he's like, oh, okay, thanks. And he
You're so welcome.
he takes the symbol and he goes off. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Oh, did we get the address?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would have
you-
gotten the address first.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. You guys
Tanri,
got
can
the
you-
crossroads.
Can you lead us to that place? Do you know where it is?
Let me think. Probably. I mean, I've
You
been
know
in
the city better than any of us, and you've been
I've
here
been in the city
like a
for
week.
a while. So. Yeah. I don't know. What would I have to roll on for that?
Knowledge local. Nope. That was roll wrong edition.
Yeah.
Roll the wrong edition. No, I would honestly say it's got more to do with your familiarity. Because of routes, I'll say you recognize a cross street and can get you there. Because of like patrol routes and you know things like that.
Yep. Yeah.
Hieronymus, of course, is completely back with you. By the way,
Who's a good fiend?
Okay. So
Somewhere in the back of Tanri's head, a tiny intellectual voice thinks, "You're starting to get used to this."
fair enough.
Okay. Yeah. Let's motor.
All right. You guys rush off to the meeting spot. As you approach, you see that there is what appears to be someone in... I'm actually not certain if Shelzgar has town guards. I think there's probably a few, town guards, quotes there. Someone dressed to look like one, at least, standing there with a torch. In the soaking rain, the torch popping and sizzling. But clearly waiting on someone. He appears to be wearing some kind of, appears to be wearing a cuirass and also bearing a sword on their hip. And they look like any odd number of legionnaires that could be from any nation. Yeah, you guys have the approach. How do you want to do this?
Does anyone know how to sneaky? Because I don't.
A little bit.
Tanri kind of says, "So what do we do now?" Knowing that his instinct of "halt, evildoer" is probably not the right way to go.
I don't know if I'm good at sneaking. I've never tried before, and I just kind of like tiptoe around the group.
It seems you have many skills from what we're seeing. Who knows?
I feel like I'm okay at sneaking. Plus, I'm small, which I think helps.
If we could catch the person or persons, I can be preternaturally convincing, at least for a little bit.
I can be
What?
unassuming.
We could maybe I could sneak to the other side, and set up some sort of trap. I don't know where this idea is even coming from, but like some sort of like little string or rope, so that when Henri walks towards the person and they run away, they trip and fall, and then we can sit on them.
And this image in my head of you tying a rope off to some big heavy thing and then tying a rope around their ankle.
There's that option too. That also works.
I'm thinking of just playing a blind beggar, pulling out a dish of some kind and clopping my way over to, like, not quite on the corner, but very close by, and sort of leaning against a building with the bowl out, looking pathetic, which is just natural for me.
So basically get within range, and if you smell, arrogance and murder, you can just kind of give us the sign or something.
Yeah.
That works. I like that.
Sounds like a plan.
Be unassuming. Well, coffee does whatever coffee does.
Okay. If you're gonna set up a tripline trap, that's a phrase. Go ahead and roll me stealth, I guess.
Okay, I'm gonna be
Stealth.
Oh, yeah.
Sneaky. We need Nyarlathotep to stealth so we can call him a sneaky snake.
I got a 16 plus 5, so 21.
Brilliant. Okay.
I got a 15 just to say that I sneaky snacked.
Just slithering around the group. Okay.
Trying to look unassuming, not necessarily stealthy, but
Yeah.
like unobtrusive. I don't know if that's like stealth through not being hidden, being obvious, but being looking like I belong there.
If it were in this game, it would be blend.
Yes.
But it's not, unfortunately. It might well be tied into stealth. I mean, if you want to roll that, that's fine.
Sure.
I would
You can
also
roll
be able
stealth.
to. I would also say performance could apply.
Let's go with stealth.
Whatever's better.
I rolled a 5.
I mean,
Clump.
it's
No.
not
Clump.
hard for you to look unassuming, but you look like you're trying too hard.
Yeah. Like,
You're overthinking it.
arms for the blind.
As Coffee, as you sneak around the outside of this of the darkness around this figure, you hear the clack 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 of Anatim's stick on the street cobbles and paving stones.
I'm a distraction.
And the guard looks over at Anatim and raises the torch and squints and goes, "Who goes there?" And it gives you more than ample cover to literally just like move behind him and begin setting up your little trip line. But the guard begins to move
Sir,
toward.
could I just distract you for a moment?
So, Anatim, the guard has taken notice of you and is walking toward you. Walking toward you now.
Hello, sir. Can you tell me where I am? I've gotten lost. Tap tap.
Do you allow him to walk directly up to you?
Sure.
Okay. He walks up to you and he kind of looks at you and he goes, "You should be here, old rat."
I probably shouldn't, but I have no idea where I am. If you could just give me directions. I was trying to find the sook. The shop's still open, you think? I'm not sure what time of day it is.
He makes kind of like you can tell he's really quite annoyed, but very on edge, and in fact, you see a rage welling within him, and he says, "I said you shouldn't be here," and he kicks at the edge of your staff, sending it wide.
Dude.
Well, he tries.
That's fair. Yeah, he goes to kick at the staff, and you lift it, and he's just like, "Get out!" Are you gonna hit him?
Well, it's just like he's, drop the staff very,
okay.
very soundly on his foot as he comes back.
You're not in the Chinese movie you think you are.
No.
You drop the staff on his foot, and he scuffs his foot back, and he takes a step back, and he puts a hand on the hilt of his sword, and he goes, "Get out of here before I cut you in two." It is by this time, though, that Coffee, you have been able to tie up your little trap, and Tanri, I'm assuming you're just kind of standing back quietly.
Yeah.
Okay. And Nyarlathotep, you are both Tanri and Nyarlathotep, you're observing this. Is there any point where you're going to intervene, or are you going to just kind of wait quietly in the dark?
Go ahead.
If it looks like things are gonna get violent, I'll intervene. Or if it looks like the guy's gonna go away,
Well, he's got his hand gripped on his sword, and you feel. Actually, I want you to roll me an insight on a team. With advantage.
Yeah. 12.
Okay. You get the feeling that he's on the edge of violence. Maybe he could be talked back from it, but maybe not. You get that sense that he's just
I'm
like
trying to decide
ready.
if I care or if I just want to beat the shit out of him, because part of me just kind of wants to beat the shit out of him, but part of me is like, no, that is not the way.
Well, this is the city of vices. I mean, try new things. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Because I'm just like, if he had anything to do with the death of the beauty that it was Adria Sarasha, then I, was that what we were told, that the person at this corner would be? Maybe
was involved more intimately and not just a runner.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I kind of want to. Yeah.
It is a one shot, and we only have about 20 minutes left, so feel free to beat him up.
So I kind of want to beat him up.
Okay.
I'm kind of like, no.
I will give you. I'll say, because he's on the edge of it, I'll give you advantage on your first round's actions.
Okay. Do I roll initiative or?
I'm not gonna make you roll initiative now.
Okay.
It just takes too much time right this second.
All right. Oh, jeez. Roll a 20. So that's a 24.
What were you lashing at with first?
I'm just gonna. It's like, oh really? With the stick, with my quarterstaff.
Okay. Yeah. So that's 2d8 of damage, I believe, then. Because
1d8. Otherwise, it'd be
huh? Oh, it's 1d8, but you criticaled.
Oh, right. So 11 points of damage. I rolled. Yeah.
He has his hand on his sword, and you just raise the staff, step in, and just gracefully two-handed just whap him right on the forehead. Granted, he's wearing a helmet, but the helmet kind of falls down.
I didn't know that.
And you see a line of red drawn across his face. The rest of you. You see nothing, but you hear his telltale grunt of pain, and you can understand that you have hurt him. And he staggers backwards. Would you like to make your bonus action attack unarmed?
Oh yes. Oh, that's my bonus action attack is funny.
Oh God.
That's only a 11, so I probably missed.
11.
If he's wearing armor.
Yeah, he's wearing armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I just sort of breathe at him.
Yeah,
my would have been a bite attack.
That's fair.
So he just like.
Yeah, you catch air. You snap, and there's that sound of teeth clacking, that terrifying sound that no one wants to hear in proximity to them, as you miss. But nonetheless, he staggers backwards and tries to draw his sword. I'll let other people get the jump if they want now.
Coffee is going to kind of leap forward and is saying to herself, I thought we were doing the string plan. But I'm going to grab at my little round knife and dagger and like rush forward to help Anna team.
Okay.
He offended me.
Yeah. So you move forward into combat, completely an unknown assailant, gaining advantage on your rolls, meaning you also gain sneak attack. And you have 2 daggers, and because you're a knife fighter, you can make a bonus attack.
Yeah, I got a round knife and a dagger.
Yeah.
Okay, so I rolled a 17 to hit with my main hand.
That hits.
Okay. And so that is 3. So that is 8 piercing damage.
Ow.
Oh, and I can do my sneak attack. I'll just do that. Plus 3 is 11 plus 5, so 16 piercing damage total.
Ow.
And then with my offhand, I'd like to try to stab with my dagger.
Okay.
Oh, are we trying to keep this person alive? It's too late. I've stabbed.
So I mean,
14 to hit?
I think round knives are slashing damage, but so your piercing would be your mate. That's fine. It's your regular dagger. But go ahead. And what'd you say?
Does a 14 hit?
Well, you get advantage.
Oh.
Because yeah.
Okay, then much higher. A 24.
Much higher. Oh yeah, that hits.
And that's a total of 8 piercing damage from the dagger.
Guy.
Okay. Youch. So I'm kind of imagining
Leave my friend alone.
Coffee just being like, I thought we were doing the string plan. Leave my friend alone, and just goes up and literally just drives a dagger into this guy's kidney, like, just like everyone's like, oh. Wholesome Bean has just murdered someone.
Oops.
I mean. The guy
Yes.
like lets go of his sword and like staggers forward, and then you slash at the back of his leg, dropping him to a knee, and he starts breathing raggedly, and he's just like, what the fuck? Who are you with?
I died. And she like gets her composure back, and she's like, I don't know.
We're We're fans.
All right, so we still have Tanri and Nyarlat.
Nyarlat will slink in and cast a spell. He's going to take a little clay vial of scented oil and break it in his hand, and it's very pungent. And since the other component for the spell is a snake tongue, I think I'm good. And my eyes are going to go all hypnotoad as I say, I suggest the only sensible course of action is to stop fighting us, answer all of our questions politely, and then walk home to tend your wounds. And I'm going to cast Suggest, Jane.
Okay. What's the save on that?
Wisdom save DC 13.
I need a dice roller. Dice roller, because I didn't pull it up before. Okay. Let's. Oh God. Yeah. He's just he. His face goes slack, and he goes. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, so reasonable.
He's bleeding on us.
With the cessation of any damage. I mean, I say he drove into his kidney. I'm regionalizing. You didn't actually stab his kidney; he'd be dead. But you stabbed him in the back, and so he's got a nice flesh wound. Nice bruise, and
pretty low on hit points.
yeah, and he's getting the raccoon eyes.
I in fact I even hand him a little silken handkerchief and be like, you want to put pressure on that.
He takes it and he's just like, yeah, I mean, I guess we were supposed to. I don't know. Boss took a job. I don't know. We were just gonna. Just off somebody. It's pretty normal, right? In sales
It's very normal.
I don't know. So I was here to collect news that the job went through without a hitch, and then I was supposed to go get paid. But now I'm gonna go home and tend my wounds.
That's the only sensible thing. Do you know why the boss wanted this particular person offed?
Oh, I don't know, but he gave me this, and he pulls out a stone. And you realize that the stone is a chunk of mithril that appears to be engraved with all kinds of runes. And he's just like, he gave me this for some reason. I don't know why, but he said, this will protect you. I mean, clearly it didn't.
In fact, we'll take that and the responsibility off you, so that when you're done here, you can go home and tend those wounds.
Why don't you go ahead and roll me a persuade check for that?
Oh no, let's see. That is an 8.
Okay. Yeah, he's just like, why would I do that? My boss told me to hold on to it.
Meanwhile, the paladin who is standing still at the edge of the alleyway with the longsword raised and watching all of this, and is like, oh.
Yeah, you better put that safely in that specific pocket right there and keep talking to me.
Oh my god, he's just like, he like gives you a weird look and he puts it back in his pocket. And he's just like,
And
I'm starting to feel dizzy.
I look at Coffee a little hopefully, like,
Coffee is like, what?
It's like
Can I roll an insight check to see if I get what?
I even got it.
It's either a bluff check on behalf of the person passing the secret message or an insight check on behalf of the person trying to perceive a message. I would say one or the other, not both. So which one of you wants to?
So either deception or insight.
Yeah, so it would be Nairlot rolling deception to pass a secret message along.
My deception isn't great.
Okay.
Great. I will try to insight what your secret message is.
That works.
Scratching the part of me that corresponds to that pocket.
11 plus 2, a 13.
I would say it's sufficient to understand that he wants you to steal the stone.
Oh. Okay, and I give thumbs up. And then I want to try to be sneaky and sleight of hand the stone from the pocket. It's a very specific pocket.
I gotta say, if Keely was going to pick out a crime task force, we are the ones he would pick.
Should I roll sleight of hand?
Gods choose well.
Yes, please.
Right, a 12 plus 5, 17.
Okay. With his wounded state, his suggested state, his distraction, you're fine. You reach in and you grab that little surprisingly light worked nugget of metal, and it tingles in your hand. And as you withdraw it from his pocket, you feel this strange sensation like pressure change in a room. And suddenly, there's a new person standing nearby.
What?
It is a roguish-looking person, handsome, and they say, "There you are," and walk over and grab the gentleman and go, "Congratulations. You did me a service."
Who's talking?
Don't read into it. And they both vanish with a clap of thunder.
Did everyone else see that?
I didn't do that.
I heard someone, but I couldn't sense them. What just happened?
You sensed a lot of... I'll say this. Your attunement to emotions. Well, you've never really been in the direct presence of a very angry, very grateful deity. But I think maybe your whiskers feel a little fringed.
Yes. Oh, dear. You're welcome.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're going to have to close it. I would have liked to go longer, but we're running out of time.
Gasp.
What'd you say?
Oh, I just said gasp.
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 Yeah.
Gasp.
So I hope you all
Awesome. That was really fun.
had fun.
Awesome.
We spent a lot more time in the introduction than I
fantastic.
thought we would, but I was enjoying it so much I just wanted to keep going. So this has been a glancing look at Scarred Lands, at the shitty the city
Oh,
of Shelzar.
City. Yeah.
Yeah. And the land of debauchery and sin, but also realistically a lot of complexity and ancient history. Skarn is a land that has been riven by a war between titans and gods, and now the gods, the 8 victors, and some of their minor counterparts intercede directly in the affairs of mortals on the regular basis. If you're looking for inspiration for anything like this, check out some old Greek myths. They're a lot of fun. Other than that, I hope you all had a blast. I did. I had a ton of fun.
Oh man, yeah.
This
And
is
if
great.
This is
so fun.
fantastic.
people
I'm
want another-
bummed that this isn't the start of a campaign.
I know.
Yeah, no, this is really fun.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I mean, I absolutely love Lysa, how you just rolled with your own ignorance and created a
Yeah.
character out of that. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. My character doesn't either. That's brilliant. I think people should take inspiration from that. If you ever feel unconfident about joining another game that you're not familiar with, just do that.
Yeah.
Play a
Yeah.
character who is ignorant, for one reason or another.
Yep.
And I loved spending some time before the call creating characters with Fran and Sarah and Josh. You all know a lot more about Scarred Lands than I do, so I hope I did it some minor justice.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
no. That was
I think the settings, like once you just have that basic concept of Greek myth, gods, titans at war, but it happened not so long ago, and you can spool in everything slowly. But once
Yeah.
that-
Yeah, one of the words we use to describe it is grim bright.
Yeah.
It's post-apocalyptic, but
Definitely.
but it's hopeful.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
world is fucked, but you can fix a corner of it.
Yeah, you can make a difference. So I love that about it.
Yeah.
The character I was playing is a Slytherin offshoot brood, and I'll be publishing that as well as the other 11 broods on the Slaracian Vault soonish, as soon as we get the things finalized. And also, Fran and I will be running a game on Sunday.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
anyone wants to play
Which
some
will
more
also be
Skyrim.
set in Skarn.
Yeah. I may
Uh,
end up playing in that as well. I hope. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And those will have pre-gens, so
Perfect. I didn't have time to make pre-gens because I was busy burying my face in the book.
yeah.
But it worked out
Yeah.
all right. So,
Oh,
thank
this was
you.
a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
I
this was
I didn't know what
awesome.
to expect coming into it. I mean, for those
no.
who
Mhm.
don't know, Sarah and Fran have been involved in Scarlands lore for a long time. Yeah. So
Only 20 years. So
only 20 years. No big deal. That's like suddenly finding out that somebody that is joining your 5th edition D&D game has been playing since 1st edition D&D practically. It's like it's that level of daunting to me. It's like there's so much
Yeah.
lore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
Mhm.
So, check out Scarlands, pick it up, and congratulations! I believe it was to Natalie Pudem for winning the.
somebody won something. Yeah.
Oh, nice! Yay!
Congrats.
A PDF of the
Nat
creature
Thir-
collection, I think.
The Nat
That
30s,
creature
actually. I don't know if that's Natalie Pudem. So correct me otherwise. I thought it was Nat 20, which is Natalie Pudem.
Yeah.
So that is for Charm Person Games. I am once again from Gehenna Gaming. Please check out our website, www.gehennagaming.com. Follow us on Twitter at Gehenna Games, I think, or Gehenna Gaming. It's in the chat. Everyone else, do your thing.
Where should we go in?
And you went last.
Yeah. Let's
Okay,
back
so I'll go
first.
first. I'm Fran Stewart. You can find the book that I co-wrote with my wife wherever fine ebooks are sold. You can get a print copy off Drive Through Fiction. You can also find a Scarred Lands calendar there that we worked on, which is handy because it's a 400-day year with 25-day
What day
months.
months?
And you can find me on Facebook as Francis Stewart. You can find me on Twitter as @Ronald&Valor. And if you do find me in either of those places and you've read our book and talked it up someplace, even if it was to say, it stinks, you can still ask me for a custom haiku on any subject you want, and I will provide it.
Well, it won't be as good, though, if you say it stinks, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I mean,
well, don't
haikus
screw
can be
around with
insulting,
haikus.
right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't mess around with haikus, so.
Yeah. And you can find us both at morelikethisindustries.com, and I'm more like this too on the Twitter, and Sarah Stewart on the Facebook, and Fran covered everything else. So
Excellent.
And I am Lysa Penrose at Lysa Penrose. Lysa spelled with a Y on social media. LysaPenrose.com. I'm the brand manager of Dungeon Masters Guild, and right now we're doing some charity bundles to support Black Lives Matter, the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, and the National Police Accountability Project. So if those causes are important to you, please, and you like D&D in general, go to dungeonmastersguild.com and click the banner at the top of the website to check those out, please. That's me.
I'm Joshua Doetsch. I write tabletop video game items. You can find me at Joshua Doetsch on Twitter and joshuadoetsch.com. I'll just put that in the chat right now so you can see the spelling of the last name. But I've a lot of Onyx Path stuff upcoming, including Scarred Lands, Pugmire, Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, and They Came from Beyond the Grave, which I think is getting played, run by Mr. Matthew Dawkins, either tomorrow or Sunday.
I believe you might be right. We'll have to check the schedule, though.
Yeah. He's
Excited
awesome.
to see that, yeah.
I'm excited to see it as well. But yeah, so once again, thank you to all my lovely players. Thank you to those who watched, to those who donated, and make sure to stay tuned because there is more still to come.